I am never afraid to just press live. Go live on the spot. I don't care. I instantly do it. Like I don't sit there and delay and delay and delay. I just think that's silly. How you doing? How you doing? It's me, Steven, or Condor. Welcome to the Condor DM show. Off script, unplanned. Here I am. I'm in a good mood. So I got the time, got a bunch of things done today, and said, you know what? Here I am. Now, why have I been sitting down for the last so many days? When I normally don't do that. I'll be real with you. Privately, I didn't want to bitch too much, but because somebody's been asking me, why are you sitting down so much now? Is that a normal thing? And I'm like, no, it won't be. But I twisted my ankle last week really bad, and I've been having a hard time just staying on my feet, and then combo twisting the ankle with a few very, very hot days, and it would have been like standing up in a lot of heat and pain. Now I'm just letting my ankle get a little better, so I'll probably be sitting down again tomorrow night for that off script. But come Thursday for sure, when you see me live again for the Dungeons and Dragons coverage, Unearthed Arcana, I'll be standing up. But yeah, that's I hurt my ankle last week, and then the heat hit, and that's why I've been sitting down for so many nights in a row. I normally don't do a lot of sitting down, and so you'll see me back up on my feet like normal. Thursday, I got an off script tomorrow. I'll be sitting down because I do that for off scripts. I have an unplanned one tonight, which is what I'm doing now. And then Wednesday, I got members only Stargate 1 SG or Stargate SG1 role playing game. But Thursday, you'll see me back up on my feet. Just last week, I twisted my ankle. I don't think like I sprained it, but man, it was really sore for so many days in a row. And then it was a combo of just a lot of heat. A lot of heat. A lot of heat. That's what it is. How you doing, folks? I don't punch down or punch up because I don't mention names. I mean, unless you're somebody who's in a certain circle of people. If I make certain comments most of the time, the only way you're going to know is if you know those people. And I'm not concerned if you know some people, but a lot of people, my regular chatters and people that come by here, new people, don't know anybody. So when I don't mention names, I really don't put heat on people. It's only the people from their circle that will hear me speak and be like, oh, he's speaking about this guy. I'm like, well, it's most of you already don't like me, and it won't matter what I say, even if I'm sort of hinting towards an individual or a group or individuals. But new people that come by here won't know who I'm talking about. And most of my regulars have no idea who I'm talking about. Outside of like one or two, most will not know. And even the ones that sort of know the circle exists, they won't even understand the who I'm exactly talking about if they think I'm making a point against an individual. It's usually not. Though I would say in a certain part of the old school, you can definitely hear what I call advice being given, and the advice is really vague and poor because it's in the midst of implying that they're better than other people. Like, look, I have confidence, I'm very forward, but at least when I give advice, it's accurate, and I'm really caring to give advice, right? Problem is, when guys in the old school, a lot of them, when they give advice, the advice can be vague and all over the place. And what you'll notice is there's a constant implication, like they're constantly implying how good they are. Because even the advice is secondary to them trying to boost their ego. Like, I'll be very confident, but I'm really trying to help you. So when I give advice, it can be very accurate. I'm very on point. I'm trying to help you improve or do something or understand something. I really come at this genuinely wanting to give you advice. That's real. I hope it's noticed. My regulars will notice it, that I give very clear advice because I really aim to help. Like it's really my first focus when giving advice. A lot of old school guys out there will give you really vague advice, which if you try to go back to the table, you can be like, well, they said I should do this, but what do they mean? Like I sort of get the principle, I guess, but what exactly do I do? And you weren't told. But they weren't giving you the advice to actually help you. Like everything else, some of the old school guys are so in the habit of always trying to boost their ego and say how great they are or imply how great they are, that even when they attempt to give advice, even the attempt is more about boosting them than being clear and helping you. And a lot of guys out there just don't understand what they're doing. Like they sort of understand it, but they have a hard time verbalizing it. And then there's some guys I hate to pick, they'll listen to me and they're trying to tell you what they heard me say. But they're not going to be as clear as I am. It's like a filter. They're trying to tell you what they heard me say. That happens. Look, no doubt, no doubt. I am very confident, and you'll notice that. And I don't hide it. I don't pretend that I don't say like, "Oh man, I'm pretty good at this." But I try to humble myself a lot. Like I'll say, I'll never put professional in the front of my game master title. I said in numerous videos or streams, look, there's people out there that can be better than I am. All right. And there's some areas where I'm extremely confident because I've met so many DMs that I'm just like, there's some things I know I can do that I don't meet other people who can do them. So in some areas, yeah, I'll be very confident about who I am, but I really come at advice trying to give you advice for real. And so you'll notice that I make a very deep attempt at getting advice right for you. Right. And the standard held on me is extreme. I heard one guy from the old school the other night, an audience member. Well, no, it's like last week. So a guy in private comes to me and adds me on Discord. And he's trying to rip on me in direct messages privately. And he's saying to me, well, you're always bragging about yourself. You have this big ego. I was like, oh, so you're talking about when I'm very forward about what I'm confident about doing and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I know who you watch. So I got several links up and just gave him timestamps and said, go check this out and tell me what you think they're doing. And one I picked specifically because he's in the chat when they're doing it. I'm like, you'll see yourself in this one. And my point was to the guy was, look, if you're watching guys where they're doing bragging, implying how great they are, and you're cheering them on. I said, here's the reason, my dude. They're saying what you agree with. You don't have a bias against them. So you're completely blind to it. And you're holding me to a standard you are not holding other people to. Like if the standard is bragging or implying how great I am, I guess is what you're pointing out. Well, then don't you have a problem here? The guy unfriended me and wouldn't respond at all. I made those points. He stops arguing, completely goes away. I'm like, yeah, okay, there you go. So much for all your lipping off. People need to be more fair. And I don't really punch down or punch up or any punching because I don't mention names anymore, really. I don't really believe in that, like mentioning names as far as the intent to attack. I just think, look, dude, I'm only worried about, not like in an egotistic way, but I worry about myself as a YouTuber. I hope you do well, even if you don't like me. And I don't care if you're below or above me. I don't care. I don't sit here and think that I'm in competition with other YouTubers. I'm trying to find people that I connect with. As a YouTuber, I'm trying to build up an audience that just likes what I do. And I understand the audience can like other people and like me at the same time. So I don't like, it's like, look, there's lots of people out there that will like other people better than me. I don't get jealous. I don't see the competition part. I'm just like, look, you still like me, right? Cool. We're just human beings. You go watch that guy, that's cool. You like some of his stuff better. That's all right, dude. I don't get all jealous. And I always try to make sure that I never sit here and boost myself up off of some other YouTuber. Like that is the most low down, cheapest, mediocre trash shit I've ever heard in my life. It's like, dude, if people are going to watch me, it's because I have something interesting to say about the game. Not because, oh, I put this guy down, so now you watch. It doesn't work, dude. It's no good to me. It's boring. It's like, hey, outside of mouthing off about that guy, do you have anything interesting to say? No, you'd fucking put people to sleep. All right, I'm bored of you. And I don't want to be that guy ever in my life. Ever in my life. I want to be here and know, hey, if I talk about the game, I'm interesting enough to draw an audience. And I don't have to trash on people. I don't have to. If my chat knows better, like they can say what they want about people, but they'll notice that I'm not going to sit here and call people mentally something or fucking. I just don't do it. I just don't do it. It's pathetic. Like if you don't have the talent to build yourself up on YouTube, and you just need to get clapping seals clapping for you by saying either what they want to hear or rage baiting them by attacking people, other YouTubers, you're pathetic. You're fucking trash and pathetic. Just go away. Say something interesting about the game. Don't bore the piss out of me. And I get a lot of hate watchers, so I'll notice if I start talking about certain things or calling out certain details about how cheap people are, people will be here and then leave really quick. I'm like, all right. It's like, dude, why watch me if you don't want to feel like you're being called out? Like, it's obviously I don't like you. Clearly. Like, I'm okay with having a low view count on live. I don't mind that part. Anyway, here I am. How you doing? In a good mood. Twisted ankle, sitting down. Again, I'll be standing Thursday for that stream and back to sort of routine, normal. Tomorrow, I have some plans on what I want to say tomorrow night, but tonight is just unplanned completely. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to talk about? Depends on people. It depends on what I think about as we go forward here. Like so I said something about 5e a couple times now. Last night, I mentioned it again last night, which is my terrible experience with 5e. And some old school guys will come out, I've heard, and put a defense up for 5e. Here's what bothers me. I like people that are intelligent when they attempt to disagree with me, especially even if they don't say my name, but I know they're going to bring something up just because I said it. And there's no one else out there saying what I said for them to counter. So it's like you're countering a view that is not like just a bunch of people saying it. You're countering my view because it's not like 50 other people said it. It's like me. And I know you know who I am. I know some of you watch my shit. So it's like I said it. Nobody else has said it. If you're bringing that up, there is no one else to disagree with. I am it. I am it. And clearly you heard what I said, hence the response. So I heard some people, old school guys, talking about 5e. 5e can be ran well. It's almost like a counter to what I'm saying. And it's like I wish people would examine what you're saying. Like really get into it. I say specifics because I don't want to have, even if you're not going to say my name, especially if I know the audience knows you're probably responding to me too. So your audience knows, I know you know, you're responding to me. You're not saying my name, but the audience takes it as you're responding to me. And you're responding to me. I like it when people are accurately represent what I say. I say specifics because I'm here talking to nerds, right? And if I have an issue with something, if we get into nuance and complexity, we could likely agree on things. That's why I want the exact thing I'm saying being the thing you argue with. Because likely, if we get down into the nuance and complexity, we can find where we agree, right? But if you paint my argument up falsely, well, then you'll be arguing against me on things where I would agree with you, which makes it really annoying. It's like, dude, okay, I actually didn't make that argument. And what you're saying, in essence, I agree with you. And we should be able to actually come together on what we agree upon. Since you're falsely painting the picture of what I said, I can't meet you in the middle. You're actually acting like I'm taking a position that I'm not. So I said recently I had a bad experience with 5e, worst ever. And what did I tell people? I told people I ran 5e the way I see 5e people running 5e out of the book. I've seen it many times. Clean, out of the book, running 5e as it is. No adjustments, no host rules, no changing at all. And purely from the book with what I see most people doing. I said I want to, because I wanted to do reviews, and I had some critical thoughts about 5e, but I said before I keep criticizing this thing, I want to know what it is I'm for or against. And you can't really, alter an experience, and then understand what it is that you're criticizing. So I said to myself last year when I went to run 5e, if I'm going to run it, I'm going to run it as most people do, like purely from the book, as expected. Just run it and give it a fair amount of time, not just a session. I did 20, a fair amount, raw from the book, no altering the experience, doing it exactly the way most 5e people do. I said, I'll run 5e that way. So purely without changes, without host rules, without adjusting, my experience with that take on 5e, purely from the book, purely how most people run it and play it, it was the worst experience I've ever had in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. So if you come back and argue, well, 5e isn't that bad, but you got to make some adjustments to it. Well, I'm like, first off, I'm like, well, I'll check out what they mean by adjustments. And so everyone who says 5e isn't that bad will tell me from the old school, you have to host rule it a lot. And then you got to run it in the vein of the way somebody from the old school would run it, with the extreme changes. I'm like, dude, all right, first off, I haven't argued that I'm running it with host rules in an old school way, and I still had a horrible time. I was trying to tell people my experience, which the criticism was I was trying to learn 5e purely for what it was. So I'm doing it without host ruling, and I'm purposely running it like 5e people run it. I'm not running it like an old school guy. I'm purposely, so it was an experiment. And what I tell people when I do 5e raw as is, that I've seen most people doing with it, that's the worst experience I had. If you tell me that, if you see what I'm saying as me painting 5e as a bad game, well, I'm definitely saying out of my own view, I find 5e out of the book purely as expected to be ran bad. If you come back and you say, well, it's not that bad, but you host ruled it to an extreme and you ran it like an old school DM, what I would say to you right away is, you're not disagreeing with me. Actually, your entire case is agreeing with me. Because all I'm saying, if 5e raw out of the book ran like most 5e DMs run it and not like old school, if I'm saying that is horrible, and you're coming to 5e from the old school and you're saying I make extreme changes to it and then I run it like an old school DM, well, I'm like, well, then you're saying the same flaws that caused me to have a poor time, you're getting rid of, but that means you're acknowledging those flaws as bad. So what you're really telling me, instead of disagreeing that with me on the 5e take I have, you're actually agreeing with me. You're outright in the nuance and complexity. What you're saying is you're agreeing with me. You think 5e out of the book is bad. We agree. You're making changes. I simply didn't do that. All I'm doing is expressing that I had a bad experience with it out of the book purely as it is. But I have to challenge the intelligence of some people that will respond to me. Sometimes I think it's either they're being deceitful and either they're being deceitful and they just want to disagree with me, or they're not very intelligent when they hear what I have to say about something. It's like, dude, my explanation is clear. It's not vague. There's no way you could be confused by what I said. I stated it more than once on more than one stream in clear detail. In very clear, you can't make a mistake unless you're a drooling moron detail. Like there's no way you can paint the picture of it in any different way. And so Every attempt at disagreeing with my take on 5e is people not trying to understand what I'm saying about 5e. And I don't know if they're not trying or just being stupid. Like, which is it, dude? Are you just dumb? Like, because your way of countering me, your attempt ends up agreeing with me. Like, sure, if I went and host ruled 5e and ran it from an old school mindset, maybe I could enjoy 5e. Basic rules, cut out everything, host rule it. Yeah. But I'm like, my only take right away would be like, well, then why bother doing that? There's already old school games that exist. Like I can just drop 5e, go get an old school game, and do the same thing. I don't need the 5e. So that would be my take there. Why adjust something down to something we already have? That would be a waste of my time. But it's when people argue with me, I've had over the years, either they're being deceitful or they're being stupid. It's usually one of the two. And it's sad to see that because I'm always thinking I'm talking to nerds. So if I'm careful about what I say and get the details right, they'll focus on the details. Oh man, have I been wrong? Have I been wrong? Have I been extremely wrong? I've been very clear about my take on pure theater of the mind combat. I explain it pretty well, how I do it in detail, and that me and many people in the old school achieved doing combat with pure theater of the mind. It works this way. I go into detail on it. Again, I'll see somebody at the end of a week on a Friday go on to a thing and they'll paint up my explanation without saying my name. They'll paint up how I'm arguing pure theater of the mind without mentioning my name. And they will not detail out what I said. It will be very careless, half-assed, and just lined with assumptions they are applying to it that I never said at all. And these will be very poor assumptions about pure theater of the mind combat. That makes it sound bad without the details I'm purposely expressing to clarify. And then they'll argue against this very poorly painted argument for pure theater of the mind combat. And of course, they trash a very poor argument, one I'm not even making. But they'll, by the end of the stream, I swear, or by the end of the argument where they think they put it away, it is dismiss Condor. See, we put his argument to the side. Miniatures are good. Pure theater of the mind combat doesn't work. Even though with my explanation, it clearly does work in the old school, back in the actual old school era, shows that most people were doing pure theater of the mind combat. Like how did all those people achieve doing it if it can't be done? Right. So I don't know. I hate putting stuff out there like that. Like I'm always looking for more intelligent people to interact with. It's like I'm putting the details out there so you can't misunderstand what I'm saying. And yet most people are still misunderstanding what I'm saying. It's either through deceit or through stupidity. I don't know how many times I've heard I have certain opinions that I don't have. Well, here's what you think. Well, that's not what I said. Well, yes, you did. No. Go listen word to word what I said. Get into the details. Tell me if I actually said exactly what you're saying now. So I've been accused of thinking all kinds of things. Standards are put on me that aren't put on other people, which I find, I used to say that's unfair, but now I'm just used to it where it's like, okay, I have some extra, like I said earlier, I have confidence about who I am as a game master, what I can do here, my skill and whatnot, and I'll express it, but also try to give you real advice and not use advice I'm giving as a way just to boost myself up or my ego. And so my advice will be very clear and will be able to be something that's not vague because I'm not even using the advice I'm giving you as a way to boost myself up. I'm telling you the advice to actually help you. So I don't spin my advice into a boost, right? I just don't do that. I don't get it. And then there'll be and I'll be told, well, you're egotistic, Stephen. I'm like, okay, so it's always coming from people that watch other YouTubers that purely imply how great they are 50% of their streams. Like half of that stream, these guys on this stream are all implying how great they are. So I guess if you have an issue with confidence or the ego related to confidence, why are you okay with them and not me? That's unfair. I used to say that. I used to think that was the thing, but I notice most people don't care. If they're already accusing you of this, they don't care. And I'm like, I'm realizing, let me guess, the YouTubers that you're liking say what you agree with. So it's not that I'm doing anything different than them. It's just that you're holding me to a different standard. Like, if you're mad at me about it, you should be mad at them about it, but you're not mad at them about it. And they're doing it in your face. And in some cases, the guys that are yelling at me, I can show them examples of where they're live in the chat of somebody who is bragging about who they are and not so many words or indirectly, like implying how great they are. Like, there is the guy doing it in your face and you're cheering it on. But you tell me you don't like people that have these huge egos and imply how great they are. I've had it more than once over the years. Man, I hate people that imply how great they are. I've actually had that statement given to me. Like, I seen this like 3 years ago where a guy says directly to me, he says it in these words too. I hate when guys imply how great they are. He even uses implied. I'm like, well, I know who you are. Let me do something for you. I went and got just two videos to make the point to him and put timestamps on it. And I said, well, here's you in the chat cheering on a YouTuber who's in the midst of on a 10-minute run of implying how great he is for 10 straight minutes nonstop. And then here's another video where there's a guy doing it for more than one in the stream for several minutes. Both of them are implying how great they are in your face and you're cheering it on. So if implying confidence or how good somebody is at something is an issue for you, that you're bothered by that, why are you over here like a clapping seal for these two people? Oh, yeah, that's right. They say what you agree with. They're yes men, right? And catch up. It's only a few minutes. Won't take long, dude. Won't take long, Philo. Random. As extremely random as you can get. I get a kick out of other people too that will be on here saying they're not always into Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, well, dude, I do all kinds of non-D&D, and I actually do really good content on all kinds of different games, like really good content. I know I do, and I'm happy with it. And people without a bias that like non-D&D games are actually really pretty happy with my content. And there's a small group around the old school that are guys that don't like D&D, but they're in the false picture painted world of who I am. Like, they're brainwashed fucking zombies, right? And these zombies, with their egos thinking they're better than me, none of them are. Let's be clear about that. And I mean, none of them are. Let's just fucking understand, right? Like, they're not. They're not even remotely close, right? So no, not better than me, not at all. Let's be fucking very clear about that part. But they'll act like it's all implied that they're better. Or they're too good for me. They're too good for me. They don't like D&D games. Here I am covering all kinds of non-D&D games really well. Talking about ways of playing games from non-D&D games. And then I'll hear them like just go on. Like, I'm so sick of D&D games. I'm like, okay, well, let's see. First off, if it comes to games that I'm covering, which are non-D&D games, they'll start trashing those games. I'm like, dude, which is it? You don't like D&D and you don't like, but you don't like all these other games where if I didn't mention any of these games in my content, you would be okay with them. It's like you don't like D&D. Well, here I am. I do some D&D coverage. And I don't like some people out there. Like, dude, I get there's odd times people don't agree with me. But a lot of people try to paint a false picture of me or my content on here. It's like I do my every Thursday I do D&D content. You know, there's still guys right now that will say, yeah, Steven just covers D&D. Man, I've been consistent for months on doing these fact-based streams on non-D&D games. And there are guys that they know this. There's no way they can't know it. And they're still out there telling people that have not encountered my channel yet, yeah, don't waste your time with Steven. All he does is cover D&D. The fuck are you talking about? Which day? Let me get that right up for you now. I love Dragon Quest. July 11th, in 5 days, be on a Saturday. So yes, if you're looking to hear about Dragon Quest, doing Dragon Quest, baby. Yeah, and SLA Industries at the same time on that weekend. But yeah, Dragon Quest. Wait, Star Blazer, you're a Dragon Quest fan? I hear you, dude. I hear you. But yeah, doing it the 11th. Let's see, this weekend, let's go over what I'm doing coming up. Tomorrow, you guys know I'm doing my next off script, which has a bit more of some planned things. Now, Wednesday, I do members only Stargate SG1 role playing game. That's members stream. I only do 2 of those a month, as everyone knows. But Thursday is Unearthed to Canada. And then right away after, it's Unearthed to Canada Thursday. And then Saturday is Dragon Quest, which is the 11th. And then SLA Industries. Every Tuesday is off script for sure. Like this is a random one, but every Tuesday is a guaranteed schedule off script. After Unearthed to Canada, the next Thursday on July 16th, I'll be covering the Fiend Folio. Because I made this month a special focus on monsters for old school D&D, Fiend Folio. And then on the 18th, I'll be covering Teenagers from Outer Space. And then the next day, I'll be covering Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. The other members only stream for July is the game Exalted. And then that Thursday on the 23rd, I'll be covering AD&D 2nd Edition Monsters. The last weekend of games will be starting on the 25th of July, Conspiracy X, and then Ars Magica. The last stream of the month will be Tomb of Horrors. D&D. I don't cover too many modules, but I mean, I have played a few. And so ones that I think are impactful to the hobby, that definitely bring some unique ideas, are worth looking at, even though I'm not a big module person. Temple of Elemental Evil, Tomb of Horrors, ones that I think are just, there's ones out there I get where people will say it's cool. I'm like, I don't worry about so much cool. I worry about innovation, where I think, there was a lot of old school DMs that didn't do certain things, where if you go to Temple of Elemental Evil, it drives you towards talking more for NPCs, as you realize the expectation is you bring a place to life. You got to do that by actually interacting with the characters. And so there's an expectation when you run that you got to do a variety of things. And I think that's really good. If you're going to use modules, it's really good to have a DM feel not forced in a negative sense, but sort of inspired to, like, I got to run these NPCs because there are somebodies and the players need to meet with them. Oh, it is. That I agree with. That 1,000,000% Star Players here agree with. A lot of games I'm covering are way under the radar for what they are. Way under the radar. The Bushido. Like, they had a bit of time, but man, there's so much good gaming. So much good gaming. So much good gaming. Prince Valiant, old school comic. I like. There's so much. There is so much, man. I won't lie to you. There's Paranoia. One of my favorites. I mean, we mentioned that last night. Legends of the Five Rings. Like, Bushido is so good that it definitely helps inspire, with the card game, the Legend of the Five Rings, which is a big focus on samurai. Bushido is more of a focus on a mix of everything, right? From Japan, feudal times, like around Eastern Asia. But it's definitely fucking awesome stuff. Space opera, even though I would say I like the sort of adventure game going around to different places, though. If you get into the space focused game, you got to host rule that a bit, or you're going to be an anal land with space opera. Like I like elements of space opera, but I admit what really caves that game in for gameplay is when you try to, because it gets into the details. Nerds made it. I get why this happens. If you go to focus on space, the spaceship, and that type of play, the ideas are great. I won't lie to you. I think they're actually good. I get the point of it, but man, you as players, if you do the spaceship thing, it will seem so fucking tedious playing that game. Because it is like in every because it's when the game is going pretty smooth, it feels like every 15 minutes you got to check shit on the spaceship. Got to check, got to check, got to check, got to check, and it could just feel like that too much, especially if you do a lot of it. It's a lot of checking, 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 and players will get irritated. And now some players, for a minority of nerd players, not all players, for a minority of nerd players, I ran space opera for what I call extreme hobbyist. There is a group I ran for where we did the spaceship focus. And what blew my mind, and as a game master, it's not so bad for me. I don't mind it personally. It's just I knew a lot of players were like, oh man, this is hectic. Though I did get lucky enough to run it for one group of nerds where they were like, yeah, Steven, we love this. I'm like, yeah, I know. I know what you guys love this. And they didn't mind checking every fucking 10 or 15 minutes shit with the spaceship. So I'm just like, all right, dude, I'll do like 50 sessions for you. I don't care. Let's do it. Right. I got lucky. But the idea that you're going to continuously have that experience with space opera with different groups, I mean, there's no way. There's no way. Too many players that aren't like that. So it's a very minute amount of players that are going to be that fucking super nerdy. And they have to almost have like the war gamer mindset, which is the sad reality is a lot of war gamers never, some did, but a lot did not advance over to our hobby, or say not advance, move over, because they'll be pissed off at me saying it that way. Advance over. It's different, not advance. I don't want to get in bad language, but less than 10% of war gamers actually came over to the tabletop role playing game hobby. So the hobby just never did it. We had designers that were war gamers. They tried to make games war gamers would appeal to war gamers. No, man, still less than 10% came over. D&D, less than 10% came over. You just couldn't get many war gamers crossing over. And they were mad. They were all like, I remember in 87, you still hear war gamers going, yeah, you guys tried to replace our hobby, but fuck you because you didn't do it. Wargamers hated tabletop role-playing games. They hated Traveler. They hated D&D. If they thought you were in that circle only, they didn't like you. It took a lot of years before I started meeting guys that were cool. Like Warhammer guys were cooler because their game borrowed, ironically, from D&D instead of being opposed to it. But a lot of wargamers I was introduced to at the game place, we came down, it wasn't like they hated you personally. You didn't have a war. Like you could sit down and have a coffee with them. They were cool shit to talk to. But they fucking despised your game. Yeah, like I'm going to play D&D. Yeah, fucking fairy game. And they'd all fucking laugh because 90% of them fucking were disgusted with tabletop role-playing games. Like I was shocked to find that out really early on that so few wargamers actually crossed over to the hobby. Like so few. I mean, even a small percent is still a lot of people, but out of the totality, not many. Just surprised me. So I like Dragon Quest. I like a lot of games like that. Dragon Quest is really cool. But again, a lot of old school games, it depends on what you're open to. A lot of people didn't purchase outside of their zones. So Dragon Quest, did it get the love it deserved? No. But most games, that's true for most games. I sort of look at the old school like sort of like an OSR world, where a few games got big investments, and then there was a bunch that could be pretty good that didn't get much. And the packaging still helped sell some games back in the day. Though I would say this, there was more games I found to be really good that didn't look good in the packaging, but the games were awesome. And there were some games that the packaging looked really nice, but the game inside was And that happens a lot now too. That's especially true now. I almost get scared now when I see a tabletop role playing game that has a pretty package. I'm just like, oh, dude, I wouldn't waste my money on that. Somebody might ask me why I'm saying that. I'm like, there's probably a trash game in that thing. Because I have that paranoia from the old school. Some of the best games I ever encountered look like absolute dog shit in the packaging. Like if you compare to wanting high quality, the game looks bad, but fuck, man, it's awesome to play. The prettier it looked, sometimes it meant the worse it was. It was almost like the pretty look was trying to make up for something. Some people accuse Palladium that Palladium books would be really great, and then a lot of people that didn't like Palladium would say, like, well, it's a bad game. Like, I personally like certain versions of Palladium, like Unlimited Heroes. I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because it's not because I thought the game was perfect. It's just because I found the rules didn't get in my way for recreating what I felt was like an interesting thing. And I like the mutant gimmick. Like for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it introduced, and after the bomb was also when they kept it, was this whole make your own mutant shit. And I always found that that creative side of it was pretty good. Though for gameplay, purely for Palladium, I did not like the later additions, like the later changes. I like Unlimited Hero. I liked it. It's not because old school is the game is not made that it performs well for you just out of the book, and you can be a half-ass game master. Of course, if you suck at game mastering, almost every old school game will feel generic and not be good because most of them expect you to be able to perform. There's just a designer expects that you have talent, and so if you don't, yeah, the game is going to be shit. But that's true for almost all old school games. Unlimited Hero was good in the aspect of the ideas were good, and then you just needed to be good at running games. You needed to be a creative, and if you could be a creative, Unlimited Heroes was really good. And I consider it some of the best gameplay for Palladium, because I found it weird. Palladium starts off with Unlimited Heroes, one of the earlier ones. I actually found that good gameplay, and then as the game changed, I felt personally like it didn't improve. Like it got worse as it went forward. And it even gets to a point where some of the later games feel like it's a bit hand holding. Like it's trying to tell you how to run it. Like, dude, I'm a creative. You don't need to tell me. You give me tools. I don't need your module. I don't need you to explain how to do it. I'm a story designer. I'm probably going to run the game better than you can explain it to me. Like I'm a hands-on at the table game master. I'm probably going to be better at this than you and your entire staff. So tell your mediocre staff and your mediocre self when it comes to running games to just shut the fuck up. Right? I'm going to be better at it than you and your entire staff. So a guy who is going to be better at it than you, quality game masters are not going to need your fucking advice, my dude. Just give me the tools. I take care of the rest. Right? And maybe the hand holding was for guys that were more mediocre. Maybe. But I felt that way. It's just a personal feeling. It's just like, get the fuck out of my way. And I don't hate Kevin Sabita. It was a personal take. I'm telling you what I thought back in the day when I first started reading some of the later books. Like, this is telling me how to read. What the fuck is this shit? What the fuck is this? Get the fuck. You don't got to tell me nothing. Sorry. Go sit down, my kid. Like, just dude. Your staff has not ran a quarter of the sessions I ran. Please get them to sit down. You too, Kevin. I like you for making the game. Give me the tools. Calm down, son. Calm down. Calm down. I do this. I do this a lot. You can just calm down. Sit down. Calm down. I'll take care of the rest. I don't need I don't need hand holding. I don't need nothing. So I love Kevin's like ideas and games, and it's not like I personally had anything against him. It's just I read books and be like, it's some parts of second edition. I felt the same way too, and I'm a second edition D&D DM, AD&D DM, as people know. It's my preferred old school game for Dungeons and Dragons, right? and I ran that out of the D&D editions. I ran that the most. There's still parts of that where I would read it, go, fuck off. And I like it. Like, I like the game overall, but there's still parts where it's telling me something. Well, you wanted to, dude, I'm going to do this better than you can explain it to me. Please piss off. This is just somebody at the staff at TSR that isn't going to be as good at running games as I am. So nothing personal. This is confidence speaking. But please, kid, you're a staff member. Take your inexperienced ass with DMing and just sit down. Sit down. I'll take care of this. Right? You don't need to tell me what to do. Just sit down. Please sit down. So there's even parts, and especially the Dungeon Master guy for second edition, I felt parts of it are really good at giving you information. I always want tools. I just need the tools. Give me the things to work with. Of course, give some basic explanation to somebody new coming in. I can get that without being soured by that. But there is some hands-on fucking text where I'm just like, well, you could do that. Stop. It's not your job to tell me that part, dude. It's like you feel like you're reading it. It's almost like you have to sit down at your table with some TSR staff member sitting beside you, coaching you as if you don't know what to do. It's like, no, dude, no, get the fuck away from my table. I can take care of this part. Just, yeah, I'm glad you made the fucking book. Sold me shit. Go away. That's especially, I felt like that when I read the 5e stuff. It's like, dude, this is what it is to be babied. Oh my fuck. I felt like when I was reading 5e, I was like, I'm reading it and I'm laughing. And I'm laughing, and the guys are asking, but like, what are you laughing about? Because they see me reading, and they're like, well, what's funny in the 5e book? I'm like I'm just pointing things. So like, they're telling me that basic shit that I should just know how to do from breathing air. Like, you ever heard that joke set by Bill Engvall? You know, the sign joke where it's like, you wish stupid people just wore signs. Because then you know how stupid they are. I'm like reading parts of it going, the guy with the sign needs this. I don't. I'm like, does 5e have a bunch of DMs that are wearing signs? Is that the problem we have here? It felt that way. It felt like almost like the staff thought you were so dumb. It's like, why would the staff ever explain this to me? Come on, man. So yeah, parts of it made me just feel like, and I told people after I did the 5e run with it, because I did it purely by the book as an experiment instead of trying to adjust the rules. I didn't host rule. I didn't try to run it like an old school DM. When I did my run with it, it was purely to review. It was almost like running it as a review. And I want to do what 5e DMs were actually doing with it. And I want to run it by the book the way they were, not my alternative version. And I did that. And like I said the other night, as soon as I was done the 20 sessions, within a week, I started a second edition campaign in a panic. And the guys were like, you're rushing to a new campaign. Like, why? For 2E? I'm like, I don't want this experience making me dumb. Like, I felt like I numbed my mind so much trying to run it that I just I wanted to get back to where I was forced to think. It was like, I'm actually worried this has dulled my fucking thought process. I want to get right back to second edition right away. So I feel like pressure to think again. So I rushed. Almost like a panic, went back to second edition. Though I can say I finally finished up, I would say, because we're doing some things, I would say I'm done my World of Darkness campaign, because we're getting together and they know it's not for like a final session anymore. It's more like we're getting together to decide how the characters will fit in as NPCs in the world, because we're probably going to do a campaign next year, a small one. And it's going to be a jump in time, but that means some of the characters they've used are going to be in the world. Some of the changes they went through are going to be in the world, some of these players, right? And we're going to get together and just sort of have like a sit down for like 2 hours drinking well, mostly them drinking, and talk over how I'm going to do some advancements. So it's more like think about like there's a session zero, and this is a session final, like like session zero would be the start, but this is like a session where it's not even like a real session. It's just a session to say, okay, what happens to your characters at the end here? And so we can advance the story so they know what's going on. And then next year, we're going to run another World of Darkness campaign. I'm going to run another one where we're going to do new characters, but they're going to be in the same place. And it's going to be with a time jump, right? That should be interesting. It should be good. Like I like that evolving the world type of thing with the characters players having a major effect on what's going to happen next, right? So I thought that was interesting. Interesting take on the whole thing. After talking to my second edition players, the guys playing the second edition campaign, I will officially have that done. The schedule for that's been up and down, and not up and down. Like it's guaranteed so many sessions a month, right? But we've had a few where we've had to delay, and I don't do a lot of flaky stuff. So yeah. Now, I heard somebody asking me about spotlighting characters or players. It's like, say you have players that are coming in and out of the game. How do you deal with that? Well, I don't. Look, here's the way I look at it. I don't ever focus a story, I guess, or the game, whatever terms you guys want to use nowadays. I never focused a game on individual characters, so the idea of favoritism and spotlighting in that way is just never a thing. There's occasions where guys could miss a session for work. It definitely happens. That's a realistic thing. But play favoritism, I have a good way of going about just highlighting the group. It's just whatever you want to do as individual players with your characters, that becomes a lot of your responsibility. You can do it in my game, but I'm not going to put a lot of attention on individuals. I put attention on the group. And I got really good at that over decades, putting attention on the group. So I never have to play favoritism. When you come into something, how much do you want to take part in what's being put in front of you? That's up to you. Right? So the idea that somebody in the group becomes more important than others, that it just doesn't happen. The group is always the focus, not individuals within the group. So when major story things are happening, as they say, story, my players, when major things are happening in the game, it's focused on the group. It's a way to avoid favoritism, right? If you tried to focus things on individual characters because their players are more active in the game, you can get the favoritism. And some people say, well, that's not bad, especially if you have players that are missing games or missing sessions or something like that. I'm like, that's a foreign thing to me. I don't even know why you have an issue with it. I don't know why you have a problem with it. It's like, dude, no. Focus on the group. Make the group the star. That's it. Like when NPCs talk about you, they're talking about your group. Those people will help. That group will help. The group will get this done. That's all you're gonna do. It takes complete focus off individual characters, and through that, you don't get this favoritism issue. Basically, it's how well the group does is how well the team is performing together. And of course, there might be players that are going to do more for the group than the others. No doubt. You might even have certain characters that speak more for the group than the others. But still, the group. It's still the way the NPCs will see them and perceive them. So I don't have NPCs perceive the individuals within the group as the important pieces. They always perceive the group, the party. Right? And once you have NPCs and things focused on the party constantly and the way they view it, the way they talk about them, Now it comes down to how much do the players want to participate in making the group shine, the party shine. It's only when DMs sit there and carelessly allow the NPCs or other people to more focus on individual characters, and it's language. You got to be careful with language use. And when NPCs talk about the individual characters, or it's about what the characters are doing in that way, it becomes more of a focus on them, and others can become less important in the process. So the way you interact with the group, the party, with NPCs, it's really important the language you use, the perception that the NPCs stay away from focusing on individuals and they focus more just on the group, even with the way they speak about the thing. And the more you have people focus on the group or the party, the easier. But you got to keep yourself in check as a DM. You got to constantly focus on the party in your language and everything else. It's really important that the guy hiring you is focused on this. Now, you have your individual things going on, but that's individual stuff, right? That's individual stuff. That will be the thief has the thief skill. The fighter might be in a fighter skill. There might be guys off making their own deals, and that can benefit the group. Still, when they bring somebody in from the outside, that will be their focus. Then it's still on for the other players that are coming in to go do things that bring stuff around. So if you're meeting with the guard who's going to hire the group and he has nothing to do with, say, one of these individual storylines, as they would say, that guard will talk about the group. He'll keep talking about the party. And that's just really important, because by the NPCs making sure they're always using language towards the party. The party's important. We need the party to do this. It does sway how you treat things. You'll notice that there's no need for the NPC guard to keep treating a specific character in your group as somebody more special than the others. Though it doesn't mean the guard won't see a more active player as sort of a bit of a spokesman for the group. But still, it's a perception thing. And it does sway your mind as a game master, that you don't sit there and just focus on one character. And so when a player comes in, even if they missed a session, it won't really matter. It's just like, look, if you're going to be effective, it doesn't matter if you weren't here last week. You can be effective for the group. You can do your part for the group. You can come in and be a benefit to the group all the time. And that will make the other players happy if they can't see you all the time. Like, just say you're the odd session you have to miss. That can happen in life. You can still come in and be a benefit to the group, to the point where if the individuals aren't focused on by the NPCs, the other players will actually be happy with your play too. Because everything is group focused, party focused. So as a game master, always have the people that are hiring focusing on you, focus on the party. Like, you guys, your group, this and that, like the way they speak to them. It's never about, we need you, the individual character. And again, you can't control the side things that the characters are going to do. They're going to do things on their own. Like the thief guild, the thief might have a thief guild focused on him. That's cool, right? That's a focus on him. And that area, it's not favoritism. It's him making an effort towards his own thing. Now, if he can get the group some work, there'll still be a lot of language you can use towards the group. But of course, if the Thieves Guild is getting them to do something, the Thief Guild master or other people in the Thieves Guild might give more focus to the actual thief in the group. That's not favoritism in the same way the general missions in the general game is going to go. That's a different line, right? And they can all you'll still see them as a group behind him. It's important that you actually use language carefully in the game as a game master. Like, put yourself in check. That matters. It's not as hard as you think either. It's just, you got to keep focusing. Like, if you notice that your NPC guard who's maybe representing a lord or something, or a noble, keeps going after an individual to talk to them, the more he talks to the individual character, the more focus he puts on. That's what you call getting favoritism. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. But that part I don't mind. I don't mind that. So that's I even said that when I talked about the second edition of DMG. There's parts in it where it's talking to the new DM or new players. Totally cool with that part. That's why I said that. That's why I specifically said that, Philo. Said that twice. Uh, but it's the parts where you get into the deeper details where it's okay, now it's hands-on in a way that's unnecessary. Like if a DM is to learn, if even the new guy is to learn, it's give the tools, give him sort of the idea of what he has to do, and then let him go forward and learn. And that's actually better for the new DM. So the more hand-holding you do, the more you nullify any work on skill or talent from the game master. It actually hurts. It hurts DMs. It hurts them. So if you have talent, I want to put you a little bit out there like I would the player. It's like the new player in old school. They come in and it's like they don't know they have to watch out for a gelatinous cube. So they have to get in, have the experience, and they learn. But the DM has to go through that as well. Is there elements at the start of the books that are giving heads up to new players and new DMs? Well, I actually agree with that stuff. That's why I state that out loud twice earlier. I hope you paid attention because I actually also was getting on about how people don't pay attention to what I say when I say details. Like I hope you notice. You've been listening to it. You notice that one of my big complaints is I'll say specific things because I'm talking to nerds. Details that I hope they pay attention to, so they don't paint the way I see something or what I'm saying as something that it's not. Right? That's a very big issue to me. Right? Because we have a lot of arguments here, and in the nuance, in the complexity, is where we're likely to agree. Right? So it's the details up front where I'm like, if I'm saying something, if I'm going to push an extreme view on something or complain about something, I want you to know for sure what I'm complaining about. Right? It's a big issue to me because in the nuance, we'll probably agree. So as long as you're not careless about, like, as long as you're not missing what I'm saying and then careless in representing my views, we're good. But a lot of people will do this. They'll actually hear what I say and they won't even hear it clearly. And then they'll go say, Stephen is saying this or Condor is saying this. When I was like, no, I'm not saying that. And actually, me and you would agree on that detail, but you're misrepresenting my words. Right. And where I'm talking to nerds, given that we have these views and we can be very, very in the weeds about this stuff. It's like, dude, I'm mentioning details simply to avoid misunderstanding. And then for the conversation, I hope it aspires in the nuance and complexity. Of course, we can find areas where we agree. That was like my recent issue with the 5e stuff. People are like, there's this guy, he thinks he's arguing with me. He thinks he's arguing against me. Like Steven says 5e is no good. Well, that's not exactly what I said. That it's no good. I said raw, running it exactly the way 5e DMs do on the raw front with no changes and running it the way they do. That I think is awful. Purely out of the book with no adjustments, no host rules, clean raw. No attempt to alter anything at all. And I made that detail twice. I don't even skip. If you listen to what I say, I make sure that is so fucking clear. Clarity. You can't mistake it if you're intelligent and listen to what I'm saying. So what does the guy think he's doing? He says, well, he says it's no good. He doesn't say exactly my name, but he's saying people are saying 5e is no good. But here I host rule 5e and then do this and it works fine. Well, dude, is my argument saying that host ruling it and running it like an old school DM is bad? Am I taking a position that doing that sucks? No. So in that, have I even argued that you can't adjust 5e to something different? No. Do I say that you can fix it? I say my argument in the past was you can't fix it. And I made a big detailed thing about this. And people are like, You can fix it, but they missed out exactly what I said. So again, I went into detail. I said, you can't fix 5e in a way that works too well for 5e. And people are like, yes, you can. I'm like, no. You had to listen to my entire argument. So I do a whole argument where I point out that most 5e players at the time, still now, won't accept changes. That's most. That's like over 90% of players. Make a minor change, they're not playing your game. Especially the public ones, which are the majority. So you make minor changes, they're gone. That's still the vast majority. So and I point that out. With changes, the game could be better. I even say that. But to make sure people, like I wanted people to understand, I'm saying you can't really change 5e in an effective way that works. Because most people won't, there's a culture formed around WotC, especially around this 5e thing, that players want it like the PlayStation. They want it exactly as it is. That means they just will not accept changes. And so even if you make them and say, I can perform better with 5e, there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to get players. And a lot of 5e DMs were finding this out the hard way. They were going out en masse and I say Roll20, and you'd see just empty games. And I talked to 5e DMs on Roll20. Are you getting players? No. Are you getting players? No. Are you getting players? No. And this is like fucking 14 guys out of 15 not getting players with changes. And then there'd be one guy like, yeah, I would finally have a guy come along to the video. Well, I got players. I'm like, dude, I say in the video, it could work. And I even say there's probably the exceptions out there. I say that in the video. One of the exception guys comes along and I'm like, okay, did you listen to the video? He's like, yeah. And then I act like I didn't say this in the video. I said, well, look, yeah, you could make changes and there are exceptions, right? Yeah. And I said, you'd probably be one of the exceptions because you know quite a few guys don't have an easy time getting people to accept changes. He says, yeah. I said, it's too bad I didn't say that in the video, right? He's like, yeah, if you said that in the video, I probably would have agreed with you. And then I put a timestamp up. I said, man, do me a favor. Just go listen to that for a second. It's in the video. He wouldn't respond. Because if you click on the timestamp, it's exactly what I say in the video. I said, there are exceptions. It can work well. I go into the details on purpose, just so I don't have somebody trying to make an accusation against me or pretend they're arguing against something I'm not even arguing about. Or presenting ideas as if I'm ignoring the ideas when I'm actually acknowledging them. So my take on 5e having a rotten experience was raw. Of course, you could change it if you got enough players that would play it, like, and if most DMs that would work for. Yeah, I mean, you could run it better. My only argument against that too, like the other side of it is like, well, you're just trying to change 5e into the old school when we already have the old school. Like a lot of 5e, like once you start making too many changes to 5e, in my opinion, it starts becoming unnecessary because you're just trying to recreate something we already have. Right. And it's even the host ruling. When I check out the host ruling for most guys, I'm like, I don't know, man. That seems pretty weak because it just seems like you're just cutting off whatever it makes. I said, I think the game has issues. It's broken in many ways for gameplay with combat because it's too slow. So it's in the complexity that can be interesting, but in the nuanced areas, I can agree with people more often. That's why I want honest, intelligent conversations with people. Like I say exact things. So, hey, dude, let me trigger the conversation. And maybe in the nuanced and having a nuanced view of this and in the complexity of the conversation, we can find where we agree. But if you falsely paint up what I'm saying, well, then what you're doing is you're saying, here is the complexity and the nuance that I would probably agree with, but you're presenting it as if I'm arguing from that point of view. And that somehow mentioning it is putting me in my place. But I'm like, no, that's I wish you'd represent what I said exactly. That was like a Theater of the Mind, second edition. I said this the other night, Philo. I would do this for years. I've been around a certain crew of YouTubers for years, and they would do streams every week and stuff like this. I'd say something about second edition on a Monday and maybe Tuesday. And by Friday night, I'm hearing people talk about what I said, but they have revamped my statement. They won't mention my name, but they take away all the key points that make my argument credible. So all the stuff that would make it credible that they should consider has been wiped out of the argument, will not be mentioned. And they replace it with weak assumptions. And then without saying my name, they're still going to represent this very weak argument for second edition as if it was mine. And then they're going to argue against this newly painted weak version. And then they're going to act like they have put me in my place without saying my name by the end of the argument. But what they've done is completely corkscrewed out every key thing I said, replaced it with weak assumptions. And at that stage, I'm like, as they're arguing against it, I'm like, well, I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. The problem is none of you are arguing against what I said. And in detail to what I said, all your arguments would flop and fail. So basically, your little panel on that Friday night arguing against my thing, I have destroyed every one of you fucking cunts sitting there. None of you could argue against my thing with the key points intact. But of course, if you put your weak fucking bullshit assumptions in place of my key points and then pretend that I made that argument, which I did not, and then once you pretend that I made this weak argument, then you destroy it, you act like you won a debate with me when you won nothing. So it's like, details are important. And I've always said this, there's nothing wrong with new advice, like what you're saying there with D&D. And I get it. I do agree that D&D is a starting point for a lot of people. I've actually said this in content. D&D is a starting point for a lot of players coming in. So I don't mind the advice for new players and new DMs. I get it. I don't need that personally, but I get why that's there. It is the grittier stuff inside where they start the hand-holding. In second edition, they start that a bit more, even though raw tournament style with modules is what inspires third edition, fourth edition, 5e. The hand-holding, the hint of hand-holding in a way that's unnecessary that you see in WotC D&D starts with second edition. So the gameplay, the raw module gameplay bit, that's tournament AD&D 1e. That is what they create third edition, fourth edition, and fifth edition off of as far as raw and adventurous. It is second edition's hand-holding explanations. And the reason that makes its way in is many of the guys that were writing the hand-holding advice in second edition that was in deeper into the book, they work on third edition. So they bring that language over to third edition. And then it goes into fourth, and then it goes into fifth. So it becomes a practice that sort of starts on the end of TSR, but really drives forth inside of third edition. And the hand-holding makes sense when you're aligning it with raw rules as written, ode to the book. You have no talent as a person to run the game, but you're going to have the book run the game for you. And then you have an adventure already written for you. You don't got to create nothing. You don't got to be a creative. You don't got to think for yourself. Just run the adventure already made for you by another person. So totally get that. New advice for new people coming in. Some of the basics is good. Totally. Actually, some of the old school guys out there, well, here's what's weird. They'll actually be opposite of me. They'll actually argue as if the hand-holding is good when it's unnecessary. And they'll actually say the stuff for the new DM or new game master explaining your game is unnecessary. It's like, we don't need to know what role-playing is. I'm like, dude, I don't, like, I tell these other YouTubers, I'm not like you. I don't think in the short term. Right? I'm like, you guys, no wonder anything you would put out would have no future. They'd be like, why? Like, whatever you put out would just be trash in the future. They're like, why? I'm like, because none of you know what long-term thinking is. Necessary basics. Well, what if somebody in 100 years picks up my game that doesn't know tabletop role-playing games? How effective would it be for the basic explanations to be in there for them about something they know nothing about? See, a lot of guys around here, especially in the old school, think short term, just like they do with their content on YouTube. It's if you ask them, what are you doing next week? They won't know. What are you doing next year? They won't know. They have no plans. They're fucking winging it, half-assed winging it. What about making a game? It looks pretty, but what's if a guy picks it up in 100 years? How much is he going to know? Well, all the basic explanations we left out, so they wouldn't know how to role play. They wouldn't know that we do this at the table. They wouldn't know all this basic stuff. Do you still have the hand-holding advice in like chapter 20? Yeah, that's still there. So if a guy picks it up in 50 years and doesn't know much about role playing, he won't know anything new about, like, he won't be able to understand exactly what he has to do with your game. But at one point in the midst of his confusion, he'll see some hand-holding advice that will make even less sense because he doesn't even know it's about sitting down at a table with a group or role playing or anything, right? Like, I get D&D is an entry point, but I always thought it shouldn't even matter. That was my opinion. I've heard people say something similar, like D&D is a starting point, so it should. Most other games don't do that. I'm like, but most games should do it. People are like, why? I was like, stop thinking about next. Stop thinking in the short term. You failed fucking nerd. You make something. Nobody knows who's going to find what when. Think long term, dude. Think in 100 years. Stop thinking the short term, mediocre, trash way. Right? It's so mediocre to think that way. And then to act like putting in the basics is the mediocrity. They'll be like, well, man, I don't get why people would even bother putting it. Like, dude, you are painting the right move as mediocre, and you're painting your mediocre view as something high end. It's not. You're fucking brainwashed and confused. Because I want somebody, if I put out a game, I want someone in 100 years, if they encounter my game before anything, to be able to pick it up and go, look, what's this? You sit down at a table. What do you do with the rope? And it explains it. It gives the basics new players and new DMs need to know about what the game is, about what they got to do. Because I think long term, my content here on YouTube, I can put new ideas in. I can do new streams. I can do new videos. So nothing stops me from adapting all the new stuff that can potentially come in the future. But I also have guaranteed ideas for content for the next 5 to 6 years in the bag, all ready to go. And I think long term all the time. I think that's what you got to you got to see it in the long term to be able to be successful. If not, you'll drag yourself out, you'll dry out, and you'll go away. Like, I mean, I look at Matt Colville. I love Matt Colville. I think he's a very talented guy, but long term thinking wasn't there for him. He had a short run plan. That was it. A lot of guys around here doing YouTube have short runs. It's like guys doing AD&D 1E or just Beck Me stuff. It can get you a bit of an audience, but at one point you will dry out in certain videos. What do you do then? Do you got a plan for next year? What about the rage rate stuff? That stuff too is just. So when I'm trying to make dialogue here, I'm always looking for more intelligent people because I want the dialogue to be meaningful. I say exact things so we can go into the nuance and discuss it together, brainstorm together, and we get more than just this petty trying to boost mediocre people ego type of bullshit. Like, it's like, dude, are you just trying to bring me down to bring yourself up? Or do you care about the subject? Most guys that are out there harshly disagreeing with me care more about bringing me down to bring themselves up. I'm like, you don't care about the hobby, do you? You don't care about the game. You don't care about the discussion being important. You don't care about understanding exactly where I'm coming from. The quality of your approach to this is fucking low end. And that's a big issue for me because it's so petty. It's so petty that it kills healthy dialogue and healthy conversations. And it creates conflict with people that is unnecessary. Oh, I do too, but you do go into a lot of games where they don't explain it that well. That's why I think some of my streams are really good. People don't appreciate it. If you're reading different games and you go into my streams, most of my how-to advice for game mastering and even ways of looking at it for the game mastering stuff is not well written into the text. Like it's good ways of seeing the game so you can understand better. Like I start understanding what the game designer is, but they're very vague. A lot of old school games that are non-D&D are very vague. I recommend all the time new games, but you also got to recommend games where there's some enthusiasm over it. You go read some old game and just like, my dude, I can do so much with this, but the way it's presented, the way some other people will talk about it, it's absolute shit. No wonder this game never sold back then. No wonder most people pick it up, don't even run it right, or even like offer it right. Right? They don't have they don't creativity. There's so much to this game, but the creativity is not expressed. The enthusiasm that should go into the ideas of what you can do with this is not even expressed in the text. It's not pitched. It's like, again, I talked about the great samurai stuff we could do last night. Go read Legend of the Five Rings. It's nicely packaged to a point, but there's almost no enthusiasm in it. It's really dry on the explanation, very nerdy. You don't get excited or think about all the things you could do. And there's a lot of nuance and complexity I kept mentioning last night. That's not mentioned. I love bunnies and burrows. And to a creative like me and Bill himself is a creative guy playing with some creative people. They definitely get the best out of it. But when you read it initially, it's so simple that the idea that you're going to see it like I've seen it and get excited about the things is most people won't. Right. And then even the explanation for basic gameplay. Like, what do we do? Like, there's so much vague nonsense in a lot of games. So much that I could understand why people pick up and just go, I don't understand it to even know how to try this. I'm like, yeah, because here's how people write in the hobby. Here's how people communicate in the hobby. They communicate as if you went through a course on the game. And so they'll use lingo. Even YouTubers do this. They're going to try to teach you something new. But in the midst of them talking about something new, they're going to start using lingo. Lingo that if you're truly new to the hobby, I mean fucking raw new, you need to have the lingo explained to you to even understand it. You're not going to understand certain lingo. You're just not. You don't even know the concept. Like, you're sitting at a table doing what? Like, you don't know the most basic of fucking basics, right? And you're going to use lingo as if you know this, as if you know this, as if you know this. And a lot of people, I guarantee, walk away from our hobby because of the way people talk about the games. Completely walk away. Because if you get so confused with something, you need to be excited by it. But if you're confused by something, it's hard to be excited by it. The more confused you are, that's where your mind is. What? You can't even get excited about it because you're still confused. Right? So you need confusion lifted, and you need things explained to you like you're a kid. It's like they used to, and this is true. I think the wisdom is when you understand something well enough that you can explain it to a child. And why would that be necessary? Why was that the old way of understanding if you really understood something? Because for you to teach something, even to the adult or the child, you have to explain it like the person is like a child when they come to something they know nothing about. So even a 30-year-old human being, if they're completely ignorant of what you're talking about, you're going to need to explain something to them, at least at the initial start, like they're a kid trying to learn. And if you don't do that, even for intelligent people, intelligence doesn't mean instant understanding. Right? Look, you understand things faster, but unclear communication can trip you up as much as it can to the guy who's drooling out the side of the mouth. So it becomes necessary to be very clear. That's why I think some of my content explaining stuff like sandboxing is so good, because it's so clear Like you go to one of these other guys that, like, I heard the other night, there are guys doing streams and they're talking about DMing. And I know they've listened to my recent content. I know they have. I'm just being honest. And they're trying to explain the same thing I've explained, but they're trying to put it into their own words. Now they're going to, first off, they're so used to implying how great they are that they have a hard time of even giving you advice without the habit of implying more than giving you advice how great they are. Like, it's such a habit. Guys do this so often around here. Almost every statement they're making is about, oh, they're great, they're great, they're great, or the other guy's trying to boost you up as you being great. It's all ego boosting to mediocre, insecure people. Right? But then when they finally try to explain something to you, it's vague. It is assumed they know something. If you take most of what they say back to the table, you'll be sitting there confused. Like, okay, I sort of understand the principle, but what do I do at this step and then this? I don't fucking. You're guessing, and then it almost becomes no good to you because your guesses could be completely wrong. When you go to my explanation about the sandbox adventure in the setting build up, mine is step by step by step in a way that you won't be confused and will work perfectly for you at the table. My explanation will make you confident that you understand it, and from understanding it, you'll build confidence that you can do it. And there's nothing vague. And when I give advice, like, of course, I have my own confidence. I boost myself up when I think I'm good at something. I'll be honest. I'll say what I say. But still, when I get down to the explaining part, then it's building up. It's like, hey, Bill. It's like doing that, doing the explanation about the rooms and being basic about it, or doing the raindrop stuff I talked with Bill the other night about. It's I say it in such a clear way that you'll understand what I mean by creating atmosphere. There's no vagueness to it. It's so clear. It's so relatable that you'll be like, okay, I know what he's talking about. I've listened to a couple guys last night and today, checking out them trying to repeat what I say, and it's like, oh, guys, you are so vague. But it's more about an ego boost, and their audience will sit there and decide, yeah, you know what you're talking about. I'm like, all right, hey, some new guy that just came along, can you take his advice back to the table? No, I wouldn't understand it. All right, listen to my sandbox thing. Oh, I get that. Okay, I could do that. You're welcome. So I recommend new games all the time to people, but you got to do it in a certain way. You got to do it. And then you got to be honest. Like, I'll recommend, like, I'm enthused about it, but just, I'll be honest with people. Understand, like, Bill would get what I'm saying. As a creative, you can do a lot with bunnies and burrows that we just talked about. I just mentioned this about Bill. Bill, as a creative, and his group is creative, they'll pick it up and go, oh man, we could do a lot with this. I could pick it up and we could do a lot with this. A lot of people, and the reason it didn't sell like hotcakes, even though it was okay, it fails to, if you're not creative and you pick it up, you might be like, oh, you're just playing animals in this. It seems kind of boring. You have to really and be able to read it and really get, like, not just because there's a lot of vague text in Bunnies and Burrows. So you'll be like, hey, Miles, what's up, dude? What's up? Like an hour and a half in. Unexpected, because I had time. I got things done today. And Miles. Bill and Miles. How you doing, guys? I don't think Black Rose will be here today. I think he's on a road trip today. He'll be quite busy. He might say hi. He might pop in and say hi during the travel, but he probably doesn't even know I'm on right now. He'll definitely be around tomorrow. Remember, guys, Thursday is Unearth Arcanda, and I think earlier another guy here, Star, was asking me about Mr. Blaster was asking me about Dragon Quest because he doesn't think it gets enough love. And yes, this Saturday I am covering Dragon Quest. Good stuff. Any questions are welcome, baby. Any questions are welcome. Any questions, I don't care. Ask me whatever. I think a few people got mad at me a bit about the. I don't know. I don't know which video. At least two or three people were quite upset with me about a video. I was like, what am I supposed to do, dude? That's what I think. And if you like 90% of what I'm saying, why get butthurt over one video? But that's how some people are, man. You can't control that. I can't control how that goes for some people. Some people will oddly sub to me, then sub away, then sub back, and then sub away. I'm like, I don't know what to say to them. It's like sub here, sub away. So like, just fucking be stable, guys. Fuck off. Stop being insecure about everything I say. Like, just stop. And I would ask people, like, really, because I think most people that think they disagree with me really don't. I'm like, dude, I hate that. I hate that. Subhumans, fucking feel you smart ass. You Norway guys are always the fucking cunts in my chat, but I love you. I love you. I'm subhuman, subbing on subhumans. Good one, good one. It was either going to be you or Black Rose, but you're here, so you'll get it. Listening to my third printer or collaborating oh, printers are fucking a beautiful thing, baby. I got an expensive one. I got to get new ink for it. I do a lot of printing offline for games that I'm trying out now. So I'm still printing, even in 2026, because I got a few guys that will run certain games for me, so I can do content on them later. I'm able to get borrow. Well, you might want to say borrow copies or get copies of games that I can print out. PDF copies that some friends give to me. Like, thank you. And it lets me print out, so it's just like print paper, and then I can actually go try the game. Because these guys will actually do that. They're like, Steven, why don't you buy the books? I'm like, dude, I'm a gamer, not a collector. He said, printed a lot in the 90s, and I get jealous because I did not have a printer until 2000s. It was just, I hear what you're saying. What I did it wasn't about having a printer. It was about going to the library here and where I lived in Nova Scotia, going to the school library. As I got older, going to the main one of the main libraries here, and then there was just these community center buildings. And if you went to them, some of them would have printers in them. Sometimes it wasn't expensive. The other thing was, look, I won't lie to you. I was gaming in the early 90s in the military community of gamers. And some of the guys there, especially Navy guys, I say especially Navy guys, Army guys could have had these, but my grandfather was Navy. And we lived in the Navy part of the military housing. And I would go over to these old Navy guys that were gamers, and they had printers. Like, they had them in the 90s. Oh, like recently, you mean? Like, pretty much most of the games we talk about nowadays, like the old school games, are printed from the 90s. So, what do you mean? Like recent? Is that what you're asking me? I'm going to assume recent. I have to assume you mean recent. Like, what are some of the most recent things? Like when I got printed, Doctor Who Adventures in Time and Space, Labyrinth Ward. Some people are going to be happy to hear about that. Battlestar Galactica. There you go. There's a few of the ones I have printed right now. Oh, Oh, I'm getting a copy tomorrow. Somebody just asked me about it. I think Black Rose did. Most Guard, the role playing game. I'll be getting that printed tomorrow. Because I've been really focused on getting copies of games between 2000 and 2010. I've already played some of them, but I have a couple game masters that run me through short runs of like one-on-one 3 to 5 sessions. I say 5 because we've done a few where it's been up to 5 sessions now. And it just, at the end of it, they let me in on inside baseball with the game mastering stuff. And I learn as a player during the 5 sessions. They tell me anything that doesn't give away things so I can enjoy the few sessions I'm playing without being some player that has a look behind the whole curtain thing at once. But then on purpose, with no shame, they tell me all the secrets. We go behind the what they did, how they handled it, stuff like that. Give me a second. Okay, that gets ignored. I have a 3-ring rule. If I don't know the number and it goes 3 rings, especially on like the home phone here, because we get scam calls. If it goes 3 rings, nothing. I'm going to answer it. Telephone salesman. That's it. Like my uncle will call that phone because he'd rather call that phone than say my personal phone because he knows that's for business, right? I don't have a personal phone for casual. Right. So if you want to get in touch with me, it's either email or the home phone. I don't use the other phone for anything but business. And I don't often get on that phone because I don't like using cell phones. I don't keep it near me. I don't keep it near my head. I won't use apps. Right. So like when I do things, it's on PC. And it's a great way of separating myself from this too. It's like people are like, look, I won't lie. I do have the X and some of the places I post videos to, but I like most apps that people have, I would never touch. I do have those for posting. I will look at that every so often when I'm not near the PC and make some posts. But for the most part, I keep mostly separated from this, right? Oh, that part annoys me. I can't walk around in life doing this. I won't. The only time I'll post on like X and that is when I stop, sit down, then look, and I only do it for a minute, like post, done. That's it. And then I'm back in the world. And I purposely do that. Like I have a life away from this. I do not get glued on the internet. That's why, like, I remember because on my PC, I remember because people didn't know. This is about the assuming people do. My Discord, I would go on Discord and just because I'm so half-assed on Discord, most of my Discord chat that's known me for years, they'll see me that when I'm on it, usually just it'd be like in the green all the time, right? Oh, and volunteer as GM for young people, which he's right to do, and that actually would be very fun for you. And that's really what public game mastering is, Philo. That's when I did it was for young people, so it's sort of what he's doing now. Even if it's a later date in his life, it's still what I did. It's a lot of grabbing onto a lot of young people. I started as a teenager, though, so you'll be starting in public game mastering in the sort of same age bracket that I would be. It's go to young people. They are better off, but I get your opinion about age and cell phones. But people assume so much about what they don't know about you. I remember guys on here would be like, yeah, at least I'm not like Condor and like on Discord all the time playing games, like running my games on there or having no life being on Discord all the time. And it's because people want to paint a false picture of me all the time and they assume things about me they don't know. I would get on Discord for a minute, just sign in. Hey, good morning. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I don't look at Discord for like fucking 12, 14 hours before I come back to it. But what I forget to do constantly, and now I just put it on away all the time now, so people just don't know. But I would constantly go away and never be near the computer, just like living life. And people like, well, Steven has no life. He's just on Discord all day. At first, I got confused. This is how ignorant I was because I forgot, like, I'm not changing the status. Why the fuck are people saying that I'm on Discord? I'm not on Discord all the time. Why are people saying that? I'm like, I realized some people that were joining the server were from a certain circle of people that hated me. I'm like, oh, they're doing their false picture painting thing. They're looking at me in the false. Oh, okay, I get it. They see the green. I forget to change the status. And I would like, I mean, sometimes that status of me being online could be offline for days, and I've not looked at Discord for like fucking 3 days in a row. And people are like, man, this guy's on Discord all the time. That's his whole life. Yet during the 3 days that they're saying I'm on and have no life, I have looked at Discord for about 2 minutes and been away from the PC 90% of the time, doing things in life, being active. So the painted picture versus the reality was completely different. Completely different. Growing up with video games and have different expectations, at least that is one of my prejudices. They do, but you want to know what? It's a lot easier getting a 14-year-old to adjust, or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old to adjust, than it is getting a 25-year-old video game person to adjust. So what I would say, Philo, is you're right, and it's easy to see it all that way, but there is a reason why Black Rose is having some success with his gaming. And I think you'll like it too. Blow your mind. No matter what you think going in, you got to definitely give them a heads up on this is going to be different. This is not going to be what you expect. It's not a video game. But teenagers, no matter how fucked up they seem, are still easier to mold. Like it's a lot easier to get someone who's 15 to adjust than it is somebody who's been in something for a long time at 25. And I've just known that personally. So to break the 25-year-old of the habit who's been playing video games for a long time, oh my fuck, because he's going to be more established into it. The 15-year-old, no matter how fucked up they are in practice, they're easier to be led. So it doesn't mean it'd be perfect, but it's easier to lead. It's easier for them to go, oh, I do it this way, okay. And they just do what you say. That will fuck up. Even if you see them on the phone, just don't pay attention to your phone. You got to be able to put that down for a minute. And you got to get it. You got to drill that at them a bit. You got to look, guys can't be on the phone while we're doing this. You got to focus on this. If not, you won't be able to have fun with it. Okay, 25-year-old, try that with him. He'll keep looking down at his phone. Now, don't get it wrong. There are some things people will do with their phones, and if it's the easier way to get young people to avoid the phone thing is almost to bring the phone into the thing, right? Like, why don't you keep some of the information you get on your phone so you can keep checking it? Oh, cool. And then have that. It's a trick, but it works. It works. Still, try with the 25-year-old. I'm not saying this is all teenagers, mind you, Philo. So it's not like you'll run into some perfect fucking pack of teenagers, but there is a reason Black Rose is having a bit more success with them than he would with a group of 25-year-olds. Just saying. Our teenagers are awful because we allow this shit, but it doesn't mean you got to remember teenagers are still kids, so there's some parts of them that aren't completely jaded. Some parts. It's easy to look at what they're already doing and assume there's going to be all this badness with them, but you still just got to remember they're still in the state of mind of being able to be led and less jaded. The older people get, the more jaded they are, the more established they are in their habits. Right? So even on the outside, even though you see the 15-year-old and 25-year-old doing the same thing, the 25-year-old is way more established and harder to break of it. That's at least I'm convinced of that. It doesn't mean they perform well in school, the kids, and they can be stupefied by all their shit. But again, that's half-assed teachers and people not focused on the individuals because it's a class, right? So I run the game still for some young people. And it's like World of Darkness. We had 3 players that were all like 16, 17. They play well, even though they have some of the habits we just went over. Like some of the habits before they get into the game. They're right now, one of the guys is 17, the other guy's 19. The rest are all older players, but they're the son and daughter of 2 of the parents in the game. So you do get a lot of these people that it's sort of weird. But I've always got this as a public game master. There's a lot of guys at home that the father at home will start playing with the son and his young daughter. And as they get older into teenage years, they become pretty credible players. But then they do want a game master and not just daddy run the game. And that's when you get some of those people come out and be like, I'll see the 2 teenage kids and their father or whatever. I'll be like, you guys are a package? Yeah, okay, cool. And I just make sure at that point it's a lot easier because if I can establish a good relationship with the dad, and he's going to want to look, here's what's weird when you have your kids. You will play more correct for me than just about anybody at the table easier. Because you are the example setter. And I'll be telling him right away, dude, I can run this great for you. We could have no conflict, and you could be the influence over them so I don't have conflict. And parents, it's weird. As a public game master, I found it easy to run parents with kids. Like really easy, really terribly, like just amazed how bow the head they are to the authority properly. And then, there's guys that will tell you they've had me be strict with players over the years. And there's tons of players that have played with me that don't know what it is to have a strict moment with me. Because they'll tell you, Steven can seem harsh if you're fucking around. But if you simply just don't fuck around, he's one of the most pleasant, easygoing guys to ever play the game for. I have tons of players that have had that relationship with me, have come back over the years with me. Not a single argument, not a single time I've had to, and they simply play the game right. And they play the game well. They focus, they do the game, and they have a great time. And they understand. Here's the great thing when you get players like that. They understand they're not kissing my ass. They understand there's no ego boost for me. They understand that by just simply doing the right shit, their time is good. Their escapism is good. It's about them. It was never about me to begin with. It's a team sport. They understand that, yes, of course, if they play right, I'm having a better time as a game master. But they know the purpose of playing right is a bit selfish. Because even though you might think that's kissing my ass, they'll realize, good players will realize this. No, it is their experience, their own experience. That is the fucking heightened thing they're looking for. Like, dude, if you just pay attention, don't fuck around, it's going to be a great time. If you fuck around, it's gonna suck because you're going to run into me. I'm not going to let you. But that's like the favoritism thing I said earlier. Some people will have so many different views. They've been doing something in this hobby for decades in a certain way, and they don't get it. It's like you can brainwash yourself with the way you use language, and you can play, like, say, favoritism with certain players. So I was saying earlier, here's some good advice. When there's somebody higher in the group, or a guard is representing a noble talking to the group, or either way, somebody is coming to the group. It's the group focus part of the game, not the individual thing where your thief is off talking to your thief skill. If you don't want to play favoritism ever, or have it so focused on one or two characters over the others, a way of programming yourself to keep yourself in check as a game master is to make sure that the person with the mission, the person paying for the job, or who's ever coming to the group to communicate, even when they talk to the player who's going to speak more with the character, they always frame it in the idea that they're talking to the group. Can your party do that? I'm looking for the party to do this. Right? Like the idea of forming personal relationships with just the person talking the most it doesn't mean they're not going to be comfortable talking to them. But the language used by people should be your party. I need your party's really good. Your party's good at this. Your party, your party, your party. Because there is one guy I heard asking me because he said he's seen a video where he's talking where a guy is talking. I don't know who the video is from, but it's or it might have been a stream. Might have been a stream where a guy was talking about like what if you have a player only show up to the table every so often because of work? Because the guy can't show up every session, and the players that are there more regularly and taking part more regularly, their favoritism is given to them because they're there taking part. They're there the ones focused on them. I said, here's what's probably happening. The individual characters are being talked to by the NPCs and the person doing the job and the person. They're talking to the individual characters and focusing on the individual characters instead of using language that keeps focus as if they're talking to the group. And so if that player shows up every so often and you're accepting this is the case, he can still be effective for the group and even have the other players be happy with him because everything is looked at from the group point of view. So even when he shows up, he missed a session, but he shows up next session, and what he does should be the aim to benefit them. And who they're dealing with should be using language that is, your party is great. We need your party to do this. That little language focus, like that check thing for game masters, is a way to make sure you're not having NPCs or the adventure focusing more on the making individual characters in the party important. Because if you start making individuals important through language, because that's, remember, you can manipulate yourself. That's what game masters have to watch out for. It's called self-manipulation. You're brainwashing yourself, and it's in a minor way. Because now the main character, or you have a main character you're focused on with the NPCs. He's talking more to him than him. Like he's at the back, right? He, because like the guy who comes in every so often now is not as important. He's going to be on the back burner. But I'm like, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be on the front either. And he can be effective for the group overall. You got to make sure you're watching how you use language. It's just very important. And right away, as long as you're not having the Lord, the nobles, the this, the that the group is dealing with, looking at the individual characters that are talking the most as using their names. But they keep, again, pushing the idea that your group is really, the party's really well. You guys are doing a good job. Like always talking about the group as the group, the party as the party, and that the party does well. They like their relationship with the party, with the group. You get rid of that favoritism. Like it will just eliminate itself. And you won't even know how. Like I can't tell you that I understand the exact magic behind it, but it just does drop it. Because language is important. You got to realize just it's not easy to brainwash people, but at the same time it is. Like an extreme attempt to brainwash somebody can be very hard. So propaganda can fail quite often. But what would shock you is the harsh attempt might fail, but brainwashing in a minute way can work effectively well. Like if you slow boil something, it can work. And the worst thing is you can manipulate yourself. You can brainwash yourself really easy into a habit that you don't even realize, or you'll notice you're doing favoritism, but you don't know how to get rid of it. Like I know a lot of game masters out there that go, yeah, I play favoritism sometimes. I don't really, like I try to get around it, but it just doesn't work. Now I'll talk to them. And one of the things I realized about some of these guys, I'm like, well, could I maybe watch a session? They'd let me. Or if I couldn't watch a session, I'd ask them, are you doing this? Or like, how is the NPC? Like the NPC really likes the leader. He's always talking. Or I watch a session and I listen to how things are focused on the characters. Is it the individual characters of the party? And I realize right away they're doing exactly what I'm telling you here. And I'd be like, oh, okay. I'd be like, do me a favor, dude. And I've always fixed every one of these guys. I said, but like the next 3 sessions, I want you to consciously no longer have that NPC or the others focus on the character who talks to them the most by name. Start having them say the party's great. This is great. The group is great. Like, change the way you're talking here. And then they notice. They go through so many sessions, and like 3 to 4 sessions later, the group is the important factor now. Or guys would go back and change it for a while, come back to me about 2 months later. Yeah, man, that's working really well. Like I've noticed now the group is starting to feel like they're all feeling like they're getting attention now. Like what they're doing together is important. I'm like, yeah, yeah. There you go. You've gotten away from the trigger because it's. I got lucky. My first game master was a military specialist, and his specialty was manipulation. One of the things he does, say, guys, you would normally send over to regime change nations, right? Do regime change. So one of his study areas was understanding manipulation. And that's why Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role playing games appeal to him. Because he realized right away the person that runs these games is doing exactly what he studies, manipulation. So he's really great as a game master. But he taught me about all these tiny things to do with manipulation and brainwashing and how you can use it effectively for good, but how you could use it for bad too, right? And I started realizing small things that would create habits like changing language. It sounds like a minute thing, but it works. Like it works so powerfully well. And if you're doing the wrong thing, it can fuck you up. I'm not trying to say I know more than other people. It's just the favoritism thing is quite often a problem for people. So that's really important to know. That's manipulation stuff. Almost at 2 hours. I don't know. I here, come on here for a little while. If you guys have some more questions, or if you have any questions at all, I'm here. I'm here for a bit. I'm not going away. But there you go. That's important stuff. Sounds small, but it works. And why play favorites anyway? It's a group orientated game. Like we naturally fall into it because game masters will just start instinctively focusing on characters with NPCs and stuff. And I'm just like, just stop doing that right away. Your job is to not just carelessly run the game. Like your job is to actually focus on these small things. It's not me trying to be egotistic on that or just like performance is important. Your talent and skill as a game master is important. Well, I only have the second edition game going. I'm probably going to end that. I mean, we're probably close to ending that. The World of Darkness game is we ended that, but we're doing I don't know, you might want to call it like a session 0 at the end, like a finalized sort of session. We're going to get together they're going to have a few drinks and 2 hours of talking about how the characters they have will become NPCs, how the time is going to advance, and then we're going to start World of Darkness campaign sometime in the middle of next year. And they want to do it from the point of that start time. Second edition, I mean, I've been up and down on when that's going to end. I mentioned this earlier. I never got to the point where I was going to say it was going to end. Probably, I think January. Probably around January. I mean, I extended it out. We talked about where that's going to go. So probably January. And we play every second week now. We've been playing every second week forever. It's a lot of sessions in. So that's going to go quite far. I mean, they'll probably be close to like level. I'm going to guess like level 17 or 16, somewhere around there by the time we get to the end stage. And they have their reasons for that. They want to establish something. So the chance that we get to level 20 with that campaign will be almost unnecessary. But yeah, it's so D&D games. I don't got games. I got a game. I got a campaign going. Period. I had that in a World of Darkness campaign on the go. How fast will I fill in on the World of Darkness game? Well, I'm not going to do another World of Darkness game right now. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm up and down because there's so many games I've covered lately. I want to try. I want to do everything. Fuck's sakes. I really do want to do everything. I'm thinking of doing a short run with Paranoia. I do get enough players to say that they're willing to play Paranoia after they've heard my stream. They checked my stream online. They were like, "Well, Steven, we never did that. We did that one." I was like, "You sure? Like, are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah." Oh, I see. Maybe you're just where it's coming in a little late. Probably time. Probably the Paranoia thing. But I mean, as far as long term, Deadlands. So we're going to do a short Paranoia run, but the same group of guys want me to start Deadlands afterwards. So Deadlands is going to be so we're going to do a short Paranoia run, and then we're going to do Deadlands. Second edition at the end of that one, I'm going to run a Skullhorn, the Neo TTRPG system for the same group, with some new players. 2 new players, but 3 are going to stay. So we're jumping over to Skullhorn because they want to try the Neo TTRPG system. So Neo TTRPG system Skullhorn is in January, and in a few weeks we're probably going to start a Paranoia campaign. Well, I say campaign, but a short run because it's only a short. It's not a game meant to last like for 100 sessions. We'll do Paranoia. They'll run that dry, and then we'll start Deadlands. Deadlands is going to be the longer game, of course. Like that's going to be the next campaign that's really taking over for World of Darkness. And I only run 2 tables. That's it. That is it. Miles is a stupid question. I've been talking with these guys forever. These are my in-person games, so geez, keep up, dude. My in-person guys do not want to be on the fucking internet. I've told you this. This is now the 11th time. Like I say, those groups won't play on here. I have to get guys on here. So 11th time. Maybe this time we'll stick and you want to ask next time. The in-person groups do not want to play online. They do not want to be recorded and play online. They're not YouTube people. They don't want to be connected to this. They like to game. That's it. They want to play the game. They don't give a shit about streaming. So I've asked them would they go on YouTube. They're like, no. And they see me differently. They get that there's a completely different picture of me painted on here. They're like, look, we love you, but Bill, you love. I hope you. If you haven't checked out my Deadlands stream, you really should. You really should. You really should. You would love it. You would you love Mysterious. You would love Deadlands. You would love Deadlands. You would especially love Deadlands. I guarantee you love Deadlands. Great cowboy western style game, and it's in the States. It's very American. It's America, very pro America. I'm done being ha, but you get what I'm saying. It's think of the settling the West type of thing gimmick. American cowboy, western type of thing, right? But with fantasy. But yeah, the in-person guys, they all love me, and they have a completely different view of how people. No problem, Oz. They have a completely different view of me than how people view me on YouTube. They think I'm a great, sweet, nice fucking person who runs the game really well. They all fucking love the hell out of me. They don't understand why some people view me the way they do on YouTube. But I just tell them, like, people are just on here. It's different. Like I said, you guys aren't competing with me for an audience, right? Like, no. I see you're not out to make me look stupid. No. Like I said, all the things that cause the conflict with me with people on YouTube, it's like I said, you guys see me as a person you're meeting in real life. Like I'm Steven that you know in real life. Like I'm a human being, right? They're like, yeah. Well, you got to understand, to the audience online, some of them will see you as a person, but most people see you as a character on the TV, and they don't care. Like, I hate to say it, even people that probably like some of my stuff, they don't care about the character on this like they do people they consider real people in real life. Oh, for a game online. I put the thing out there, like, Bill, I have a Discord thing. I mean, we'd have to run it on Discord. I got some people on there, but it'd have to be a game that we'd all agree on. I don't like rushing into stuff, though I can see you as someone who would be fine for playing online. Uh, yeah, I've tried it. I got some people on. I got one guy on there that would play for sure almost any game, but I need to line players up with him. I put the invite out there for people to join. So if afterwards, just just do me a favor on this. Yep, on this one, just leave a comment later on this stream. Doesn't have to be now, Bill. Put a comment later. Hey man, be open to the game. Like, you can join the server. It's not a guaranteed you have to go into a game, but it is a hey, let's connect. Like it's to open the door so if we choose, so we could have the conversation privately and talk over the game and talk about a schedule and talk about win character creation, all the good planning. After this stream, maybe tomorrow, just put a comment saying, whatever you want to say about the stream, but either way, just say, yeah, I'm up for Discord, something like that. Or yeah, you can send me a Discord invite and I'll send you the invite, because I can't just put, I have to put like one-time invites out now, because I have haters that are, I'm not joking, Bill. There'll be like 50-year-old men, 50 and 60-year-old men that act like 9-year-old kids. And if I put the public thing out, they'll come on Discord and mess about like a 9-year-old little boy. And they have really weird things, like one YouTuber's like, yeah, I have an account on, like, he got booted out the Discord, but he's like, he's going for a while. Like, I have an account on there on his Discord thing watching him. But I'm like, why? I'm a guy on YouTube talking about games. Why do you get a fucking life? Go fucking talk to people on you. Not fucking watching me. You fucking weird retard fuck. Like, but in real life, you fucking get called out as a fucking weirdo fucking creep stalker. On here, oh yeah, it's a, so what you find out about it? It's like, stop being a weirdo fuck. You're in your 50s going on 60 years of age. Grow the fuck up. Be a real man. A real man wouldn't do that. I don't know why the fuck anybody on fucking, just because you're on the internet, that people would socially accept that as just normal. Like, yeah, you're fucking normal. You have a fucking what the fuck you doing? Go talk on your YouTube stream and suck my ass. Stop acting like a fucking weirdo fucking freak fuck who stalks people. Just some old fat fucking nerd, probably around like 60 years of age. Just, what? Don't you get a life, dude? You got time for this? Like, I'm just a human being talking about games on here. And even if I have some political views or something weird you don't like, just, who gives a fuck? I'm talking about games on here. I tell people what I think. I say this, I've known this for years, Bill. You're hearing my complaints, but I know how crazy it is. I know how weird people are on here. I'm not a human being to be treated like a normal person. No courtesy given to me. Lies spread about me. People attempting to destroy all the work I do on here casually, as if that's okay. Stuff they would never do to people in real life. Stuff nobody in real life would ever socially accept as okay or normal. But on here, people are fucking weird. And that's why my in-person group, They're normal people. And they look not at what I do on here. They look at the reaction I get and they think everyone on here needs therapy that doesn't like me. They think all my haters are fucking people that just I'm like, maybe in some cases, yes, but and another weird side of it is a lot of people just get away with behavior on here that isn't considered crazy that should be. In the real world, it would be considered fucking crazy, and you have issues and you need therapy, right? But on here, there is a lot of behavior that is a certain echo chamber in the old school. They completely act like this behavior is completely fucking normal, and it's not. The other thing is they'll also throw weird accusations out at me while they're trying to pretend they're all normal guys, which they are not. They're all fucking unhinged. I remember over the years, Bill, they would say Steven can't take a joke or take any heat. I take all kinds of fucking pokes and jokes from especially from Philo and fucking Black Rose. And I love the guys and I can take it and it's just all fun to me. I hope they never think I'm like, even if I point it out, like, oh, you're doing the fucking around part. That's not a complaint. That's me not giving. I don't give a fuck. I'm just having a laugh about it. But I can take any poke that comes at me. The same guys that say I can't take a joke, go on a stream with them. Take a poke at them that is to piss them off. And they flip the fuck out. They project at people. And I mean, projection is insane. Like, I can take the joke. They can't. They spent years saying I can't take a joke. None of them can take a joke. They lose their fucking minds live on streams. And I mean, fucking get unhinged, foam at the mouth, and go crazy over a joke. Oh, yeah. So it's a lot of projection, insecurity, and weakness. They'll sit there and say, like, I can't handle a debate. Okay, I handle people disagreeing with me on here all the time. I might be aggressive on the pushback, but I handle it. I fucking say what I want to say and all that. As long as you're not lying or insulting me, I don't care. Miles will tell you. Miles is look, I like Miles because he's not sitting there insulting me or fucking lying. Oh, he might strongly be pointing something out and he might be skipping over something I said, but he's not like, oh, right fucking lying to my face or fucking doing this. No, it's like, cool. You're not going to get banned. You're going to stay here. We're going to have the debate. Completely fine. I'll have the debate. I'll fucking be passionate, but you'll be here. You go debate them and they become fucking so unhinged they go crazy and hate people. You disagree with, if you criticize something about what they're doing, one guy, I don't want to mention names, but one guy had a bunch of live plays up and other things up. Somebody criticized what he was doing in his gameplay, and for a period of time, he deleted all his live plays because one guy was criticizing how he ran the game. Dude, and he got really upset about it. I'm like, but I'm thinking to myself, well, first off, you tell me I can't handle shit, yet I handle all kinds of heat. I'm a public person and I don't live in a protected bubble. And I don't go around freaking out at other YouTubers that talk shit about me. I let them. I don't go to their comment section and say they can't do it. Completely fine. I don't get this unhinged. If you disagree with them, they go fucking nuts. And while they're going crazy, they'll look over at me and say, well, Condor can't, he can't handle anything. I'm like, dude, I handle everything. You can't handle the softest shit thrown your way. Like, every guy who says this about me is complete projection, completely insecure on here. And now, Bill, I think you got that point the last time I talked to you and mentioned some of this stuff. You're like, yeah, fuck them. I'm with you. I know you said sort of fuck them and not so many words. Same way, but it is sad because the only issue I have with Bill, it is a shame that a lot of these guys for a certain community are all a bunch of YouTubers and have major influence. So, yeah, usually it'd be blow off, but at the same time, it means that because of the way they behave, they get their audience accustomed to shallow shit. Yes, men, rage bait, and then hating on people to grow, like using people for content, and then projection. It all becomes weakness, and they develop their fucking audience to think like this. And then you can't take part with them in a normal conversation about the games. Like, you can't have they're all freaks, stalking freaks, stalkers. They mention, like, I won't mention their names. They mention my name all the time on their fucking streams when they're attacking me. Oh, Condor has mental issues. No, dude, I'm the one who's fucking sane who takes the heat. It's all these fucking unhinged fucking people. I know one guy has over 8,000 subs, Bill, going on almost 10,000, like between 8 and 10,000. The guy has a pretty big audience, I guess you would say, compared to me, a smaller YouTuber. The guy would do 15 to 20 streams on me, attacking me, using me as content and everything. Okay, I'd take it in stride. Right? No unhinged, no freaking out. I mean, think about it. This guy's done like 15 to 20 streams on me. I go one day, I'm like, fuck it, I'll respond. I do a 5-minute video. In the video, I laugh a bit and just sort of poke back at him, like, ha ha ha. And the guy next day does a fucking stream where he lost his fucking unhinged crazy over me responding to him in a 5-minute video after almost 20 streams of him attacking me and using me as content. Guy has almost 10,000 subs. I'm a smaller YouTuber. Lost his fucking mind. I'm like, dude, you need fucking therapy. You need therapy big time, dude. That's creepy shit. That is not normal human behavior. It's not normal social behavior in the real world. It is weird fucking you need therapy behavior that is somehow accepted as normal on here. But I tell people, like, why are people that way? I'm like, well, people on here accept all this weird behavior because a lot of people are standing on a false ego. And they're trying to be popular. And they're trying to grow. And they're trying to make money. Like, there's all of these competitive things and things they're going for. And ways they lie about themselves or lie about who they are. Or pretend to be someone. Like, imagine you want to speak righteously about something on here. But if you feel like if you told people the truth, you can't be that righteous. Like, I know one guy, he'll do this, Bill. He'll get on here and he does these really strong, righteous fucking speeches about don't do drama and don't criticize how other people play the game. I mean, he's done a few videos on this. He does streams on this. I mean, righteous and strong and powerful with his statements. And he'll start a stream where he's like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it turns into. But he'll be on the stream. At the start of the stream, righteous with anger and drama and pushing. Don't criticize how other people play the game. Very fucking righteous. And basically degrading anybody who would criticize how other people play the game. Okay, on the stream. 30 minutes later, he's criticizing how other people play the game. The thing is, he lives in this delusion, like compartment thinking. He wants to be able to be the person who doesn't do it. So he actually believes, he acts like he's a person who doesn't do it and that he can righteously preach at you. And then on the same stream, after a passionate fucking speech about this, 30 minutes later, he criticizes how other people play the game. He says anyone who would criticize how other people play the game, and not so many words, he's implying they suck, they're fucking no good, they're trash human beings, they shouldn't have the right. He even says this, hints at it, that people that criticize how other people play the game shouldn't even have the right to take part in the conversation. That if you criticize how other people play the game, you shouldn't even have the right to take part in the conversation. And then 30 minutes later, casually criticize how other people play the game. I mean, I remember him doing a video on it. Like, I'm not going to name names, but I remember a certain guy doing a whole video on this. And he got like 40 or 50 likes from the audience. He gets on, does the whole righteous fucking video. Don't criticize, don't criticize. That night, he has a stream where he goes on and spends about 45 minutes criticizing how other people play the game. I like, these guys are fucking unhinged, crazy, fucking loopy, out of their fucking minds, need mental help. What will they say about me? Well, yeah, Condor, he's fucking disturbed. He needs help. I'm like, dude, no, you are projecting. You are extremely projecting. You need some help, my friend. I point this out because it's fun to point it out on them. It is. And they know that. And the point's made, Bill, like people come by if I say something like this and say a name, say a name. But I'm like, okay, I'll say this. How intelligent are you? I'll test them. Like, well, I'm pretty intelligent. I'm like, okay, so the point I just made is pretty strong, right? To the people who would know, just say you're in that circle, that audience. So I want to make the point to you. I want the point to stick out. And even to that YouTuber, if he ever hears that, I want the point to stick out to him. So if I want the point to stick out to him, what's more effective? Saying the name or not saying the name? I'd ask someone who says they tell me they're intelligent. Well, one guy recently said, well, I think it would be intelligent to say the name. I said, you just proved how stupid you are. He's like, I'm not stupid. I said, well, here's how I'm going to explain it. You're stupid. If I say a name, the point will be dismissed. I'll be accused of attacking someone. Now, point is dismissed. So remember, I want the point to be strong. Point's just been dismissed. I'll be accused of attacking someone, and I'll be thrown to the side as if I'm just someone who attacks people. But that standard will be fine on me because there's other people that attack people that seem to get away with it all the time. But it will be a unique standard on me that's not put on other people. like if you have a problem, I don't get it. But either way, that will be it. It will be dismissed. The point is, if I don't say the name, the point stands. It's strong. And the people around that circle that will hear it. And guess what? Generally, it works better by not saying a name because people will get that. They'll have seen other YouTubers be like this. They'll seen other people. So everyone will relate with what I just said. Yeah, I've seen other people two-faced like that. Of course. Now, am I perfect, Bill? I'm not like other people. I don't pretend to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not like perfect. But am I still a normal fucking human being? Yes, I am. That doesn't mean you know everything about me either. I warn people, don't pretend to know me. Know what you like as long as I'm not pouring shit down your throat. But people assume so much about me that by the time they start seeing me, like say on X, they'll see me post something, and like just say I finally only in the last little while start being more open about what I think, even though I thought this stuff since I was a teenager. But they don't know this. They have a whole completely different picture of me painted. On X, because I don't share certain views on YouTube. I don't mix the gaming with other views on YouTube. I'll post something on X, and people are in complete shock. Like, you think that? Yeah, dude, I've thought that was since I was like 13 years of age. But they've had me painted up as someone completely different that would never think this. It doesn't mean I'm like some leftist in life, but put it that way. Right. Until I wake up. No, well, there you go. There you fucking go. I'm perfect for some people till I stop talking. Like I still like start saying other opinions. I'm still like a fucking normal human being. I don't get all the weird behavior. I don't stalk people. I don't go to their comment sections. I don't get my people to go start heat with people in their comment sections. I don't make multiple accounts and go around to your different videos. I have 2 accounts and they're both public for YouTube, which is my entertainment one. This one, I don't have multiple Discord accounts where I go hide on your Discord and stalk you and be some weird fucking pathetic loser. I don't do none of that stuff. Like I have one account. I do this. Like I'm a completely normal person. As far as my behavior goes, I don't behave weird. And I can take jokes and people poking. But I can also push back and I can take debates, right? And you can keep talking. I'll keep talking. Nothing stops you. I'll handle the debate. And if you say something about me publicly, I don't sit here and make streams and 50 videos about you freaking out as if you have no right to say something. I don't live in a protective bubble. And even if you say something about me, I'm very confident about what I do. So I don't suddenly just get rid of all my content because you said something about my content. I don't have time for it either. But that's where some of the guys on here are older and retired too. So they'll have, I guess, all kinds of time to do shit. And then some guys who just have issues on here. And then some guys, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Like I've had a few guys who don't like me that try YouTube. And Look, dude, it's not my fault if YouTube doesn't work out for you. That's on you. But they'll sit there and get all mad. And then some guys, they try to build themselves up on YouTube through attacking me too. That's another thing. So it all from people that don't partake in the YouTube part of it, I would always hope they assume that seems a little off, but you should. But it does make sense to me. Like, why all this drama over nothing? It's because of this. And then, look, Bill, I'm a normal human being. If you cross me in a certain way, I'm not going to keep talking to you. In life, you get that. Oh, in some cases, it might even get them views. And that's why people will do that shit. It's not like attacking people don't. There is rage, fate, and all that. It does work to a degree. So I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's what inspires people to go sort of weirdo on you. But here's my issue, like say Bill Miles, and here's what gets people. They like to fuck around in this weird antisocial way on YouTube. But they'll still want to have me on a stream with them. Like they want to do all this fucking around, but then we still do a stream together and talk about games. And this is where they run into a wall with me. Now, Bill, in the real world, Miles, in the real world, if somebody fucks with you in a certain way, you'll just cut them off. Right? Pretty normal. Pretty basic, socially accepted. Actually, it's healthy to cut people off that fuck around. It's actually considered completely acceptable and normal behavior. And actually, what happens if a woman keeps talking to a guy who's fucked up in the head? She'll get criticized. What if you talk to people that keep backstabbing you? You'll get criticized by your family, by your other real friends. Why do you keep talking to that guy? He fucks around. You'll get criticized if you still communicate with people that fuck with you. Everybody in life will be like that with you, right? They'll get on you for talking to people that have crossed you. On here, they don't get it because they think content. They don't think like normal people. So they'll cross me and I'll cut people off on here, other YouTubers, the way you would cut people off in life. Like, dude, you crossed me. That's it. No streams, no talking to you, no nothing. That's how I would deal with you in real life. And I'm a normal guy, so I don't care about the YouTube competition on here. You fuck around, I will cut you off the same way I will cut somebody off in life. I don't care about the YouTube shit. Doesn't make a difference to me. I will treat you the same. On here, it shocks them. And they'll get right up. They'll act like you're acting weird. They'll be like, they'll fuck with you and then go, man, do you want to do a stream? No, you fuck me. I'm just cutting you off. Well, you have fucking issues and you're a chicken shit. No, I'm not a chicken shit. I don't have issues. If I keep talking to you, then I got fucking issues. Cutting you off is the normal thing to do. Not doing the stream with you is the right thing to do. That's the same fucking human thing to do, is cut you off. But they get antisocial on here because they see everything as YouTube and content and trying to grow. So they'll cross me in a certain way, and then they'll do things to you that is just another thing that is bad intent. Like reputation on here, if it's destroyed, could destroy your YouTube, all the work you've done. Every bit of effort you put into this can be absolutely demolished by having your reputation harmed. They'll actually come at me trying to destroy my reputation, though luckily for me, they're in an echo chamber. It doesn't work if I keep going after other people. But the intent behind what they're doing is to destroy everything I've done on here. And that's an extreme thing. It's not a small thing. That's an extreme fucking action against your effort in life. That's like trying to take money out of your pocket. That is extreme. They act like that's just, oh, come on, man. What do you mean, come on, man? How fucking backwards are you? In the real world, if you try to fuck with my money and my life like this, fuck you. You're cut off forever, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean? Just come on, let's talk anyway. That's not how that works. You try to destroy my reputation. The intent behind what you did is so fucking overkill that no, I will never ever speak to you again. This is beyond acceptable. And I tell the guys, and they'll say, like, I don't say to them, but I'll say, if somebody crosses me like this in life, if they want to have another chance at all, at the very least, an opportunity, you got to publicly, or at least come out and apologize to me correctly. You got to acknowledge that you've done something wrong, so I know you see it that way. You have to at least apologize to me. And look, I can forgive, but just not give you any more. So it's like I'm at the forgiveness stage, Bill. Thank you, Lord, for helping me out in that. I can forgive, but I don't give another opportunity unless you come and really, like, if there is even a small chance, you've got to come apologize for what you've done. And these guys will do these extreme things in life on here. It's like, I'll say out loud, well, if they want to talk to me, they got to say their story. They got to publicly say their story. No, that's where it will stand. And there's even saying an apology might not give you another opportunity. But if there is ever to be one, that would have to be a major piece of the pie. Public apology, like public, not private, public. And it's like, dude, if you don't do that, it's cut off time. So that's normal behavior, Bill. You get it. I get it. Anybody in life gets it. On here, because most of them are all part of the YouTube game, they'll try to treat you like if you're cutting them off, they'll in their echo chamber try to treat you like you had the mental issue. Like you're the one who's going crazy for cutting them off. But I'm like, dude, yeah, you can say what you want, but people in the real world will totally be on my side of this. They'll get it. If I talk to a normal person on here who comes by my shit and gets it like yourself, Bill, you totally get it. You all you got to do is examine the real world and you're like, yeah, he's right. Yeah, if somebody fucks around, yeah, that's exactly what you do. I just don't treat people on here like they're just on screens. I treat people like they're humans because I understand we all are. So I try not to hate people. I try not to carelessly hate people. I try not to carelessly abuse people either because I know we're just human beings, right? And it's easy to hate and abuse people in that way. And it's I don't just do it. And I have not been perfect on here. I don't pretend. I've said names when I shouldn't have said names. I had to change my own behavior, and I did a 160. So if you look in my past, there's no perfect angel here. I don't pretend to be. I've had some of these issues myself. So it's not like I'm not guilty of doing some silly shit on here when I should have remembered I'm on the fucking internet. I got to stop behaving like that. That's not how you do it in life. But I've had to change, and I've actually, unlike these other guys, I've changed. I went and did the 180 properly. I switched over, became a better person. I would say in the last so many months, closer to a year now, I found Jesus. That will straighten out your head real quick, right? Definitely helps you become a better person. Let you see things a little bit more clear. I would say that very much so. And that woke me up to a lot of shit. So I think that it's been a good behavior boost in the right direction, right? Sometimes you're just misguided by yourself. And sometimes you need a little bit of guidance. And I think I found, well, no, I don't think I know I found that. So at first I wasn't forgiving people and just being mad at people. But now I'm at the stage where I can emotionally forgive people. I just don't give another opportunity. And you don't have to. So I can forgive what they did, but it's you forgive, but you can go to the stage and not forget. I try not to overkill because it is about gaming, right? But it is something I mentioned a little while ago to tell people. And then, every so often, because I think it's just to clear the air about who I am and where I've come, I'll mention it. And yeah, it's a real thing. It was life-changing for me. So life-changing in the best way. So life-changing that it's like you give up something to somebody and they seem to have the right direction for you. Did mine as well. And maybe a better human being, maybe a better person, right? Because if you just start following his behavior and the way he lived Jesus, you start realizing that guy, well, he's God. He knew. I didn't know everything. And so I wanted to be a better person. And you can't just, I've learned this. You're not perfect. You can't just be better, right? So sometimes you just need someone to show you the way. And that was my change in life, and I'm very happy I made the change. Very, very satisfying change, and one where it's like boom, pretty much. Yep, we're never going to be perfect, and I've noticed he doesn't. There's no expectation of that, but we can be better. We can be better, and you, you need to be open to someone who can shame you properly, all right? Because it's like you don't listen to a lot of people around you, but when you finally decide to listen to him, he'll call you out in the right way, right? Because you need to be able to be called out. And that's one effective area that he's good at doing. Is calling you out, right? And you just sort of give it up to him, and you go, "Look, I trust you. So this is what you say to do. This is what I do." That, and it's been great. Do I want to pretend that I can preach it? No. I'm still in the learning phase, my friend. It sounds like you are too. We're both in the learning phase of learning, and that's a fun journey. I'm glad not to be at the end right away because there's so much, and it's been like a journey every day, right? And meeting new people and understanding people better too. Because, like you said, major jerk thing is sometimes you can be so judgmental of how other people are, and you don't realize just how why they were that way until you lean into it. You start realizing, okay, I was sort of laughing at them, but in a way they should have been laughing at me. And that's a eureka moment. You've been laughing at people that should have been laughing at you. That's an eye opener. That's a life changing moment right there, right? And they're happier. So, hey, you stop being judgmental and you start going, damn, let alone I was judging them wrong. They have something I want, right? So, and what they have is I see the value in what they have now. Once you see the value in it, you stop laughing at it and going, it's a good thing, not a bad thing. And you start realizing your thing was the bad thing. That's been the big flip over for me, and that mindset needed to change because that again, like you said, it takes you from major jerk to minor. I still have my sense of humor. I still have my jerkiness. That's developed in me. I'm still learning. I can still hear a joke and laugh and go, and sit beside someone better than me who wouldn't laugh, and I'd be like, ah. And even my language, I try to catch myself all the time. If I say the name in vain, uh, I don't pretend that I can perfectly fix that because I've talked just out of my ass for so long that I commonly know to ask for forgiveness. Right? You might see me do it quite often. I'll be like, "Sorry, Lord," and I really mean it. And it's something where I just don't pretend, and nor would Jesus expect me to be perfect instantly. But it's something I try to drive out of myself. It's just using language carelessly for a lot of years. There you go. I don't want to do too much beyond that. That's because I don't want to drive that at people. It's not what people are here for. They're here for game talk. So if you notice, it's not a frequent topic I bring up, but it's something I'm very happy with. With the right, I just choose to make sure I have people in my life that I can talk to about it because you do want to talk about it, obviously, and you want to have people you're learning this from, and so you want to get people wiser than you, right? Because I'm new to it, so I need people wiser than me. You still got to check yourself, but yes, it is. You've had a certain part of your life where you work it up. As they say, we're all, or as I was told, we're all sinners, but it's you work on it. You work on it. It's a work in progress. Think about that's exactly what you are. But I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad we connect on that. I really am. I'm not surprised. Me and you connect in a lot of ways. We're both obviously hobbyists. We're both truly old school gamers. I mean, language on that is just mint. I understand. Like we understand each other really well. Very few people exactly get me. You get me in a lot of levels. And then we even have this in common. So I'm not shocked. I think we're like sort of brothers that never really get to meet properly, right? You know, like someone who you relate with in extreme ways. I think me and you really do, Bill. I'm not kidding on that either. I think in many ways, me and you relate. We're just we probably come up around the same time, had the same experiences, and you get into the right stuff. And if you have the mind for something, you have the mind for something. And I think my family's very happy with my approach. They were shocked by it, but yes, here I am. I'm happy with it. And mechanic, dude, that's one area I didn't touch on. I'm a Brothers and Dyson Spirit there. That's exactly it too. I think we'd be meant to game together because there's my mindset for game mastering. You'd be the right player. Like there'd be no problems. I know you're there to have the best experience. You're not going to give me the issues because you know that doesn't benefit your experience. Guys like you, I don't even have to worry. You'll put yourself in check. And the reason you'll put yourself in check is you know that is better for you. It's not ego. Like if you know if you behave in a certain way, you just won't have that good of a time. So I know you'll good players that just know this shit. Know this. They get it. They just get the hobby. They get the game. And if you got the right game master that you can trust, I'm someone you can trust. Once you have that game master you can trust, you can just play. You can play without the attitude, without the pushback, because you know all that crap just does not benefit your own experience. I wish more players could get that in their head. Though there's a lot. There's a lot of good players out there that don't give a lot of pushback the way people want to paint the picture. But trust me, when you hear the horror stories, it does suck. And they do happen too frequently. Right. So it is disappointing. But when you find the right group of players, man, it is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Especially when players know that whole thing is their own benefit. It's like, dude, this makes it better for you. So it's not about kissing my ass. Right. You just got to trust me. You just want to trust me. It's like Traveler. I remember finding these Traveler guys. I got a game master for them. And after the first session, there's like, okay, we'll just whatever you say we do. And these were guys that are what you call anti-D&D authority guys. And they knew me as a second edition DM. But I came in and I just ran Traveler the way you're supposed to. And I'm really good at common sense reactions, right? Oh, in-person gaming groups down here, all kinds. You can put it out to the public, but we have like the library area for meetups. We have certain game shops that have like back gaming areas where you go and hang out. All kinds of things. Just get together community centers. So we have a lot of these community centers down here where they have the like library areas where people go in and talk about gaming on purpose. And these games are always on talk. They're so common. They've been established for like decades. And we like HowCon we have down here. We have it like for like 40 and 50,000 people for the con. And then we have like, I mean, if you take the military gaming, they have cons almost every second weekend casually. Like what you would call a con where you are, we have them as get-togethers. Right. So just a really, 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 really large community. Hard to find. Murder hobos are plenty. Thinking players are hard to find. Agreed, Bill. Agreed on that. Quick question. It's not like a complete shift. It's Miles, here's what I would say to you. Don't be the type of person that walks in the room, sees one glass on the table and goes, oh man, usually your place is like really clean. Like, are you just now just casually leaving dishes everywhere? I'm like, dude, you were here, 4 days ago, and there was a small plate over on the thing? You had just one plate. Okay, then there's a glass over here 4 days later. Am I leaving dishes everywhere? Is this a regular occurrence? I just say this. I get what you're saying. It never see something as full time on YouTube. It's not a switch. It's more like, okay, I brought out a couple videos with some highlights from some streams. I'll still be doing my other videos. Like at one point, like sometimes I might switch up. I might go like 2 weeks putting out some odd videos that I normally don't put out. And they'll be experimenting. But at one point, I'll just go back to doing some of the other videos I want. I'm not someone who does this complete shift. Like it's what I mean is I might experiment with some new ideas, but they just become mixed in with everything else. So if I start liking something, and whenever that's the YouTube channel going forward, it's just that okay, now if I like how the reaction came from those, that's what you're really seeing an experiment, not a change in the YouTube progress. It's more like trying a few things because I'm doing a lot of work and doing some other things in life. So I don't get time to do certain videos. So it's a way for me to get some content out very quick, but it will mix in. And everything, think of it like YouTube, like an ebb and flow thing. When I have more time, you'll get more of these videos. When more ideas flow for certain videos, you'll get these ones. If I have less time, because remember, I'm a full-time YouTuber. So life ebb and flows. So if at the odd time I have a slow, like I'm really busy in life, you might see that go, right? I think I'm at I don't track, but I'll give you the number now. Just taking a second to pop over to the YouTube thing. It's like an up and down thing. Like sometimes you gain one or two, lose one or two, never know. It just sort of goes up tracking here. Right now, at the very second, it says 1,077. At the very moment, my dude. At the very moment. So that's where I'm at this moment. But no, it's not going to be normal. I guarantee it's not going to be normal. Is it something I'll start? You might see me doing every so often now that like where I haven't done it before. Yeah. So, but it really depends on ideas and time. Like I've been really busy, so I've been doing some. I jump on this stream because I really just physically busy. So the time to stop and record a video just wasn't there. I didn't have a proper good idea for a video, so I figured I'd just get on, talk freehand for a bit tonight. And I've been working on something. I've been working on my update for my game for the Neo TTRPG System. So it's more like just burning my brain power in gaming on some non-YouTube content, right? So it helps. It's a good filler. It's an experiment, but it's not a complete shift. It just now, will these be probably now part of the overall package of videos? Or some could be in audio. I do the odd audio videos. A lot of my videos are stand-up, usually black and white, but some color. And then now, every so often, you might see me doing some of these videos to sort of fill in. Yeah. Well, look, dude, I mean, it's not like trying to attack you. It's like it's on the open stream for anybody to watch. I'm not. But if remember, what did I tell you? I think some of those conversations are very important. Or if I made what I think is a strong point, it's not about focusing on you. I'm taking a highlight from the stream, and I think it's an important point made there. And I want the point to stand because here's how I am, Miles. Conversations can be so good, but I really think the topics are important. So here's what I hate happening to topic. Like I hate this. I've seen this too long, Miles, in the hobby. I'll see a conversation from 30 years ago. Okay. It will be a conversation about story similar to the one at points we were having. It's like that's 30 years ago. 5 years later, same conversation, nothing has progressed. Points that should progress the conversation are ignored or overlooked or not even made. And the conversation should be progressed. It should be beyond that point. But 30 years ago, no, it wasn't. 5 years after that, no, it wasn't. 10 years after that, no, it wasn't. 15 years after that. And these at all points the conversation should be further. But it's not. 20 years after that, not. 25 years after that, not. 30 years after that, not. And what I've realized is one of the progression points in the hobby is, and this is why I got to take some heat, but it works. And I care about the hobby, not just care about my own ego or just building myself up on YouTube. Sometimes to progress the conversation, when people do not want to accept certain ideas, you got to piss people off. And in each case, nobody wants to piss the other group off. It's eggshells. The conversation should be progressed further than what it is, but yet same conversation, not progressed, 30 years, wasted time. And then what happens when we do a lot of this stuff in life? Other people walk in this hobby and take away everything from us. Oh, you took 20 years to try to figure that out? Well, look, I'm going to take it from you and make it something you didn't want it to be. And you can't blame people for doing that. And they do. You want to fuck around with TSR for so long and TSR is serving you, but you want to be a picky customer? Well, you fucked around for, it's not just TSR making mistakes, but you as the customer fucked around for so long. Guess what? Watsy walks in, gave you 20 or so years to get this right. So you didn't? All right, we'll take it from you and make it something you don't want. If we let conversations not progress further, somebody else takes what we want and puts it in a direction nobody's happy with. So I like the conversation we had last time, many parts of that, the same statements were made 30 years ago when they should have been progressed. We should not be at standstill stage. Right? And it's created rot, negativity, excuses to dismiss ideas, and legit opinions. Like I was sharing legit opinions with you, and there'd be statements from you that I knew you didn't have any bad intent, but 30 years ago, these were the same type of statements that dismissed really important opinions that should have been shared, considered, and it would have raised standards. And those standards were important. And it was petty, childish, dismissive language to kill it. And it successfully killed it, even though it was deceitful and bullshit. And I don't think anybody was intending something bad back then, but that's the outcome. I don't think you intended anything bad, but that's the outcome. And what it does, it puts us in a fucking standstill where our conversations do no progress. It is used to damage the hobby, and nothing good comes from the conversation when the whole point of the conversation is to progress our knowledge, our understanding, raise standards, and progress the hobby. And every other hobby, take care, Bill, but I'll make this final point to you. In every other hobby, Miles, from video games and everything, these conversations are progressed, are pushed forward, do raise the standard and improve things in the hobbies. We're the only hobby that had the conversations that should have improved us, should have progressed, and we allowed dismissive, bullshit, throwaway language to kill it. And it kills it every year. It's like some of the debates we have. Miles, you might hear debates people are having. Every year, they'll debate about a certain thing. And you'll hear people go, like, we're talking about it again. Oh, man, roll their eyes. And I'm like, well, guess what? Your complaints will actually shut down the debate. You're like, well, I'm like, yeah. You know how you're complaining right now? It will shut down the debate. I'm like, here's the problem, guys. Your complaints have shut down the debate for the last 40 years. Every time it's brought up, you complain, debate shuts down. I said, you want to know the outcome of that? It means we never fully had the debates. And that means the problem remains. The debate doesn't come out of nowhere. It's not coming out of someone's ass. The debate is appearing, the argument's appearing because somebody has an issue. There's an issue. If not, the debates wouldn't even exist. What do we have debates for? What do we have the conversation for? To sort out the issues, right? If you kill the debate, what happens? Issue remains, nothing sorted. But it's an issue, and that means people are still going to have an issue and want to bring up the issue again. So what happens next year? Issue's still there. It's going to get brought up. You complain, you shut it down. Well, guess what? Still there next year, brought up again because the issue's a big enough issue to keep being brought up. We got to sort it out, but every year you don't allow it. You cut it off. You've done that consistently on some issues for 40 fucking years in this hobby. Consistently. Bring it up, complain, shut it down. Bring it up. And I mean, so consistent that they don't realize I'm just like, guys, one of these years, you need to shut your fucking mouth, stop complaining, and let the debates happen. That's how we sort the issues out. And early debates are always going to be messy. I warn people about this. Debates are meant to be messy when you don't know what you're doing. You're learning, it's a progress. But what happens through the debates? They get better. We learn more. We progress at how we argue these things. Issues get sorted out. People learn, and things improve. They improve. They always get better. You let the debate happen. Messy to clean, messy to clean. It's all about evolving through the conversation. Those conversations are healthy. If you spend 40 years every year, brought up, shut down, brought up, shut down, brought up, shut down, consistently for 40 years, nonstop, nobody ever for 40 years ever plays up the fucking debate. The issue remains 40 years, every year, every year, every year. That's why it's brought up every year. I'm like, you have to let that happen sooner or later. It's what you call people trying to control the dialogue in this hobby. And it's not the companies. It's not WotC. It's not Paizo. It's not it. It's us. It's us. It's the majority, sadly, that have the loudest voices that side with the people that shut down the debates. Want to know what they call debates now? Debates in any other format is considered healthy. Debates, arguments, like conversational competition like that is considered healthy. You know what they call it here? They label it drama. Want to know why they label it drama? Because drama is bad. Like, that's the idea of drama. And you can shut down drama. But debates aren't bad. They're not drama. But if you label them as that, that's another way for you to control the dialogue. If you say, hey, man, it should like anybody should be able to play how they want. Well, it's like what you said that time. You're saying, well, anybody should be able to play the way they want. You could understand, like, that. The reason I got after you for pointing that out when I wasn't making the case against that, like, there was no reason for you to say it. Like, the reason I got after you for saying that, because there was no justified reason for you to bring that up, because I wasn't going. I kept drilling on the fact that I'm not going to a table and telling people how to play. It means you don't have to say this out loud as a reaction to what I'm saying. But you want to know why people do say it that way? It's to make it seem like that's what you're doing. And if you can make it seem like I'm telling people how to play, that's bad. And that's a way to shut down my credible statement. My statement's credible, but you can make it seem bad by making it seem like I'm telling people how to play the game or telling them that they can't play a game the way they want, when I'm not actually doing that. So it becomes a manipulation. I don't think you were doing it with that reason, intent behind it, but that's why all other people do it. They bring it up to manipulate, to make it seem like you're telling people that they can't do what they want. When if you examine what I said, nothing in there is saying people can't do what they want. There's no even reason to even bring that up as a counter or as a reaction. That's a manipulation. That's manipulating, making it seem like I'm doing that. And if I am, just say you can make it seem like I'm telling people they can't do what they want. That's bad. So what should be a legit statement from me is now bad. And that's a good reason to shut me down, shut the statement down, dismiss it, and ignore it. Even though it's a credible statement that shouldn't be ignored and should be considered. It's a manipulation. It's a control of the dialogue. And people have been doing that control and that bullshit and that fake dismissing shit forever. So that's why I got after you for it, because nothing I said the other day to you was me saying somebody can't go do what they want. Was not me saying I'm going to somebody's. So even the reaction, as if you need to say that out loud, like, well, you're saying, I'm just saying, no, you're saying it in reaction to what I'm saying. Right? It's not like you're just trying to, but you're saying it in reaction. There's no need, because nothing in what I'm saying is implying otherwise. So that's always stated as a manipulation to make legitimate statement seem like a bad one, because it's painted then as you trying to tell people they can't do something when that's not what you're doing at all. So I knew that statement was very powerful. And that I put up that video. So I knew right away the best thing to do is separate it from our longer discussion instead of having any manipulating words around it. Because if not, we get into that 30-year gimmick. 30 years, same discussion, goes no further. I know that point is serious and should be taken serious. And so if I separate it out of our conversation, then the dialogue around it that is dismissive and manipulative, trying to turn that into negative when it's not, is then gone. And in that video, I exited all the manipulating language around it. And I say, here's a powerful statement. You should think about this. It's a legit statement people should think about. Period. End of fucking story. No manipulating, no claims. I'm sitting there, no reaction as if I'm saying somebody can't do what they want. All that is exited out of that video clip. So it's like I tell people in the hobby, you have ran into the wrong fucking person this time. And the reason this hobby needs people like me to talk about this stuff is because this manipulation and bullshit has worked successfully on every other fucking human being in this hobby for fucking decades, because they do not know how to call this out. They do not know how to see the manipulation and what is happening. They do not know how to understand how people are trying to control the dialogue. So they have no defense against it. They say something legit, and then people come out of the woodworks and tear that down, and they are too weak, mentally too weak, to be able to push back on that manipulation and control and censorship. I'm not. I'm the wrong fucking person to play that game with. I'll see it all, and then I'll call all of it out, and I'll tear it to fucking pieces. Why do you think I have so many people that hate me? It's this stuff, dude. Because so many people have agendas here, and controls, and manipulation, and lies. And so I've created a lot of haters by being a guy who comes here and catches all the successful manipulation and calls it out. And then I put out content and make statements in ways they can't just easily counter with their bullshit. They can't control it. They can't censor it. They can't do nothing. And because they've had so much, they have an iron fist of control over the dialogue, they flip out at me. Because they have maintained control of this for fucking decades, my dude. And everybody like myself who came along trying to push back, everyone has failed. And then I showed up. And here I am. As soon as I started the pushback 7 years ago properly, oh man, they went to war with me. And it's like, okay, I'm finally the person, after decades of you destroying other human beings, destroying their reputations, running them off, controlling the conversation perfectly as you have through all your lies and manipulation. Now you ran to the wrong guy. Because I understand manipulation better than they do. I understand the game better than they do. So I come along and I put out content in ways that makes guys see. To the casual onlooker, you guys won't get why people hate me so much. They don't hate me because I kicked a dog. They don't hate me because I'm being accused of this bad thing. It's not the bad thing. They don't care about the bad thing. They hate me because I've taken control on many subjects away from them. Like 7 years ago, if you were to speak well about Pure Theater of the Mind and criticize in any way miniature gameplay, you could be threatened, attacked, and destroyed, and most of the community would support this insane behavior towards you. The threats and everything. Then they tried it with me. 7 years later, now people comfortably say they like Pure Theater of the Mind more than miniatures. What people don't know is like that is because of the shit I went through. You go back 7 years ago, nobody could say that. Now they can, but they couldn't then. That's what you call being at war with people. Now all the same YouTubers that would attack you or people in the audience that would threaten you, they just don't know more. Because now guys come out and say, yeah, I love Pure Theater of the Mind better than miniatures. And everyone is as pissed off as people can get at the statements. There's no more threats. There's no more shutting you down. There's no more cutting you out. But 7 years ago, they could do all of that and did that to multiple people before me. So that's just one example. That's where it started for me. That's the first time I faced the lies and manipulation and control. And that's when I found out, like, why have we had these issues for 30 and 40 years? Why don't these conversations progress further? Because people don't want them to. They've had agendas and lies and kept things a certain way forever. I show up and I break that. And so it makes a lot of people very bitter with me. Too bad. Right. Uh, so yeah, anybody can go to the table and play the game however they want. It doesn't mean the overall conversation has to, we have to pretend that what they're doing is good. Doesn't mean we control them, but it doesn't mean we also have to sit there and kiss their ass and pretend that they're doing something good. If you're doing something bullshit in a certain way, something that isn't really good overall, given what we're doing, should be okay to say that out loud. And it's okay if you hear some pressure about that, but nobody at any point is controlling what you do when you go to the table. You can play the game any way you want. Nobody, I'm not coming over to Tom, the game master, and preaching at him at his table that he can't run the game the way he wants to. Nobody is saying somebody can't play D&D without character death. All that can still be done while people tell you what they think is true. So the second you act like somebody just saying what they think shouldn't be allowed because, oh, now the person can't go to the table and play the game the way they want, you're lying. They can. People can go play without character death. They can, no matter what I say. So the second you act like they can't based on me saying words out loud, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And if you respond, if you even imply, if your response even slightly implies that that's what I'm doing, not acceptable. If it manipulates to make people think you're saying in response as if that's what I'm saying, not acceptable. So I'm good at public dialogue and I'm good at how the game works. And a lot of people get pissy with me because I know how to counter certain things. It doesn't mean every one of my haters is hating me based on that. There's other reasons, but that's one. I get a lot of people that don't like me because of that stuff. But hey, I think it's good to have the honest, open dialogue in the hobby because I think it improves what we do. We should be able to freely speak our minds. That's it. And nobody should be attacked as if them telling you their opinion is attacking somebody else when it's not. Something shouldn't be called in a manipulative way, in a lie. Something shouldn't be called drama when it's not drama. Somebody shouldn't be told that they're stopping other people from playing the game when they're not stopping other people from playing the game the way they want. And we shouldn't lie and pretend that that's what people are doing when they're simply saying what they think. It's like trying to tell old school people, many people in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. You might not like hearing things that you don't agree with, but too fucking bad. Too fucking bad. Because if you agree with it and a minority doesn't, you would say the same thing to the minority. Well, too fucking bad if they don't like what we have to say. But the shoe goes on the other foot too, guys. When somebody says that what the majority that are publicly talking don't agree with, too fucking bad that you don't agree with it. You have no right to control the way we talk, and you have no right to. I've heard old school guys just recently. He should be kicked out of the conversation, not allowed to be taking part in the conversation. I'll be like, you support free speech? Yeah, no, you don't. You're lying. You're a fucking bullshit piece of trash liar. You're fucking anti-free speech, you lying piece of fucking garbage. Right? Just telling the truth. If you support the freedom to speak, say what you think. We're only talking games here. Everybody has a right at the table. You want to know how you defeat somebody in an argument? You have the argument, you're right. I don't want you shut down to a corner. I want to hear what you think, but I want to hear it in an honest way. I want to have an honest conversation with you, not a manipulative one, not a lie, not censorship, not nothing. I want to have an honest conversation. If my ideas are better than yours, I want to win the argument. And that's how the best ideas rise to the top, through competition with others. And then we know it's really best, because if it goes through that gauntlet, you know it's good. If the only way my idea can get to the top is by censoring your idea, we're fucked. Nope. Though I've been called racist. Trust me, I'm the one who's called racist, Philo. Trust me on that. Are you making that accusation at me, Philo? That I do that? I'd be like, dude, you don't fucking know me at all. Jesus Christ. You're not even remotely close to who I am. It's like, just go to the right and then go a little further. Well, maybe a lot further. A lot further. So no, I don't call anybody racist. But that is one way to shut people down, yeah. It's like talking about the orc thing or talking about anything. It's like talking about sexism with old school D&D. They have a difference. Stream had been delayed, but all right, no, it's cool. No, I get you. I just had to make sure, because it could come across. No, I was being clear that no, I call racist. No, it's. I agree with you. That's another way of shutting people down. Oh, if I can understand the joke, I'll take it that way. I'm just asking. At least I clarify. No freak out at you. But I wanted to make that point to anyone else is listening. No, I get it. Joke. No, on the reality, they do that, but they don't. It's not just calling racism. That's easy. In the old school, a lot of that language is not used around the certain part that I'm talking about. Since they don't call people racist here, because they would align that with a certain behavior they already don't agree with, most of them. What they'll do is they'll instead call legitimate statements drama, or like something I got at Miles for doing, which is, I don't think Miles was doing it with some bad intent. I just think it's just normal shit he's seen, which is, you're saying something, you have an opinion, and you're not telling anybody they can't do something at a table, and you're not going to somebody's table to tell them what to do. But the response you'll get is, oh man, I don't want to, you shouldn't be telling people what to do. But you're not doing that, nor is your statement doing that. But the reason people will try to react as if it is to imply it is, to paint your statement as if it is trying to control how people play the game. And there's a reason they want to do that, because if you are trying to do that, that is horrible. And they know to paint it that way makes what you're saying horrible, right? If that's what you're doing. So then they can say, your comment should not be allowed at the table, shouldn't be part of the conversation. That is horrible. That should not be accepted. But that's not what you're doing. So it's a very false way of painting the comment, right? But yeah, a lot of people try to control. And it's so often, Philo, it's so often, dude, so often that it's barely anybody speaks like me and pushes back. So I guess some people might get annoyed that I do that every so often, or even sometimes often, depending on how much I'm running into it. But it's like, dude, this is why I tell people like yourself, Philo, I am a raindrop in an ocean of bullshit. Because almost everybody else is playing the censorship game. Call something drama when it's not drama. Claim something is telling people how to play the game when it's not doing that. Also, people can control how you speak, control the dialogue. And then some people know the manipulation so well that they'll do it like that other guy I said does, where they'll sit there and tell you that criticizing how somebody else plays the game is wrong, and they'll give a righteous speech, and then 30 minutes later on the same stream, they'll criticize how other people play the game. So it's trickery. It's either I think they're partly brainwashing themselves, because I actually think it's not clever manipulation. I actually think they don't realize they're doing it, which it makes it really bad that they brainwash themselves so much in compartments of their mind thinking that they're actually doing this righteous speech and they actually believe they're the person that doesn't do it. Like they actually have it in their mind that they really don't do it. And then 30 minutes later, they're actually doing it, like outright doing it, and still not acknowledging there's someone that does it. When I say they say I need mental help, like he has some mental issues. I'm like, that's projection, dude. It's the stalkers and guys like that, the guys who stalked me on here with multiple accounts and everything. They're the guys with mental issues. All right, that's over 3 hours, Philo. I'll make sure, guys, it won't be so random tomorrow night. I got some real things I'm going to bring up. I'm going to bring a bunch of notes with me. We're going to talk about sort of combat in general. Combat's going to be a big focus. Now, for you, Philo, you might really appreciate that. So combat is going to be, it's not like going to be like reading a thing, but I'm going to talk about, like, bring some notes for combat for a multitude of games. Right. And I know you're a guy for the fast and furious combat. So we're going to talk about combat for a variety of games. So just talk about combat, not encounters, just pure fucking fighting in the games. Right. And I won't focus so much on the limit of fighting, but just fighting. Just fun, thrilling, fucking combat. Some slow, some fast. So combat general is going to be the focus for tomorrow night. Combat. And I'm hoping I can get hours of that conversation. I should be able to. Combat's going to be a big focus. All right, Philo, love you. Bill, I know is off in La La Land now. Though, if you see this later, Bill, thank you for the fucking time. Love you, dude. Thank you, Miles, for the questions. Don't ever take anything to heart, dude. I keep saying I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I really mean that. I don't say things out of like I don't. Nothing is throwaway with me. I think you're a decent guy, very smart, fucking young fellow, Mr. Miles. So I hope you take the compliments well. They're real.